Hello, 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 and welcome. Time for another investor roadmap workshop. Who's excited? So let us know in the chat box. Where are you from? Where are you coming from? Always fascinated to see where people are coming from. Let me open up to make sure that people can chat to everyone. Yep, they can. So we got Vancouver, we got Botswana. Where else is everyone coming up? We will put the resource guide into the chat box. Ireland, Cape Town, Pretoria, Gaborone, Joburg, Cape Town, Gauteng. Cool. So we've got people coming from all over the place in terms of the process. So excellent. Well, welcome. Whatever time zone you're in, we're here to have a bit of fun. Strap yourselves in. Lots of information that we're going to share today in terms of the process. So let me get my screen up. And what I want you to do is we are going to be focusing on the investor roadmap. And this is a framework that my partner Shane built, and I love it. Now I'm going to go through it in more detail, but in simple terms, we're going to take you from over here, whether you are a ranked beginner or whether you're highly sophisticated but only investing in one country, and we're going to take you to here today, where you're earning globally diversified passive income. Is that fair? Yes or no? Quite a big statement. 9 steps that you need to go through on that journey to figure out how to achieve that. And we will literally take you through those steps in terms of that process. Okay, so if you want to join the WhatsApp group, I would join the WhatsApp group if I was you, because this is where we share all the information in terms of this process and how it works. I see Shane's put it there in the chat box for you if you want to join it. So we live in interesting times. You know, when I look around and look at the world, I'm 47 now, and I've been through this 3 times now. So around sort of 2000, 2001, was the first time I experienced it. Then sort of 2008, 2009, 2010, and now we're sort of experiencing it again. And it's an interesting one because it's kind of been an extended period with COVID, and then equally the Ukraine war, and more recently, the rising inflation rates and interest rates, and it certainly has been a couple of years of problems. And one of the things that I love is Tony Robbins. And Tony Robbins wrote an incredible article, and I'm going to talk a bit about Tony Robbins over the course of this event. But he wrote an incredible article about the seasons. Now, the first time I learned about these seasons was in 2010. And he speaks just like you've got spring, summer, autumn, winter. He talks about the economic seasons. And he talks about how we're in an economic winter right now. Now, there's a great LinkedIn article, and I don't know, Shane, if you could put it in for people. I put it in the Wealth Hacker group. By the way, you should probably join the Wealth Hacker group as well, if you're interested, because this is exactly where we share this type of information. It wasn't me. That's the beauty of a collaborative group of people, is that someone else shared it with me, and I asked them to share it in the Wealth Hacker group, which they did. And it's an incredible article about living in the economic winter and what do you actually do about it. And actually, it speaks most to your mindset is ultimately going to determine your results. So your mindset is ultimately going to determine your results. And in an economic winter, if you've got the best mindset, it actually can present significant opportunity in terms of that process. So I got a question for you. And I know some of you have seen this because a lot of you have just come through the challenge. And I'd like to ask you, what would it mean to you in 12 months or less to be earning a passive income without any hassle or complexity? So just take some time. What would it mean to you in 12 months or less to be earning a passive income without any hassle or complexity? Think that one through. And secondly, how would you like a system which will statistically help you get there 70% faster, safer, and simpler? So yeah, let me know in the chat box if this is something that resonates with you. I certainly know from my perspective that for me, passive income equals freedom. And I think, a lot of people say, oh, but it's going to take, forever, or it's not possible or whatever. And I completely disagree. Now, am I saying you're going to be financially free in 12 months? No, I'm not saying that at all. In fact, if you're hearing me say, get rich quick, you're at the wrong place. Like this, what we teach and how we help people is not a get rich quick. It doesn't exist like that. But what I do believe fundamentally is in 12 months, you can be earning a passive income. And once you've tasted it and it's possible, then I believe anything else is possible. And so for me, once you start to earn it, that's when you can start to build momentum and you can get predictability. And secondly, you know, the philosophy I've learned since 2010 is that I can try and go out there and do it all myself, or I can go and copy and model others, find systems and implement them. Because if they work for others, the chances are they're going to work for me. That's sort of my mindset. So how do we believe you do it? Well, firstly, we believe it's all about living a life unlimited. So for me, I don't like having to live, you know, where I'm constantly in constraints and there's more money than, you know, more month than the end, than there is money at the end of the month and all those type of things. And so for me, what's really important is that living a life unlimited is being able to live a life of choice. Where do you want to live? Who do you want to work with? Where do you want to put your kids to school or university? You know, what do you do with your time? Who do you donate your money to? Who do you go on holiday with? That's living a life unlimited. And how do you do it? Well, our belief is that you do it through smart investing. You know, we've all got a smart watch. We got a smartphone. We got a smart iPad, a smart laptop, a smart TV, a smart fridge, a smart, you know, everything. Why do we not use technology to help us invest? So that's sort of the process in terms of where we're going. This is the journey. So today is all about a journey. We're going on a journey. And what we're going to be doing in this journey is, you can see down the bottom here, you've got the fundamentals, and it's the 6 needs of every investor, and then it's the wealth plan, and then it's the investment categories. And then we go to the setup, which is all around due diligence and partners, managing risk and compliance, setting up your investment platform. And then it goes to investing, how the platform works, investing and earning. So that's the setup and that's your investing. So we're going on this journey, but if you haven't seen me before, or this is your first time that you're joining us, I do have a request for you. I fundamentally believe that when we learn more by having fun. And people stand here and they wear fancy jackets and they wear ties and they make the financial industry very overwhelming on purpose, I believe, so that they can make you feel stupid and they can charge you lots of fees. My request is that I'm going to take my jacket off. And the reason being, not only is it an incredible day here, but also because I don't believe it has to be all of this hoity-toity ties and jackets. I fundamentally believe that we can actually have fun and enjoy this, and actually it's more simple than you think. So is that a fair request? Yes or no? Okay, excellent. You can see a couple of yeses coming through. So we got a gift for you. And my partner Shane has very kindly given you a resources guide. So everything we're going to talk about is going to be in your resources guide. So you can literally go here, and if you go to your resources guide, let me just one page back. Let me just click on it here. I'll open it up for you so you can see it. So what Shane's done is he's literally gone and put everything in for you to make it easy for you. So the link, you know, to the WhatsApp group, the link to Wealth Migrate, apply for the investor strategy, discovery session, and then ultimately each one of the steps, you've got all the resources in. So, and there's the Tony Robbins thing that I just mentioned, basically, in terms of that process. Okay, so you literally can go and use this. So one of the things I don't enjoy when I'm at an event is I'm trying to take notes, I'm trying to take photos and whatever. And the nice thing here, you can have the peace of mind to walk away knowing, okay, cool, there's the resources guide. As long as you tag it, you've got access to it and we can make your life easy. Is that fair? Yes? No? Excited? Not excited? I don't know if it's just slow internet today or people are struggling to get in the rhythm, but I always play with people and always ask lots of questions, because I believe that engagement is absolutely critical in terms of this process. So I want to share one thing with you. Some people ask us, what's the difference between the investor roadmap and the diversification challenge? In simple terms, the investor roadmap is the how-to. We're literally going to take you through a how-to guide. It takes about 4 hours to show you all the important parts that you need to know how to invest, including how to do KYC, how to go on the platform, how to invest, how to actually earn money. The diversification challenge is a 5-day event, 2 hours a day for 5 days, where we literally run through all the theory. It's about turning money into globally diversified passive income. Day 1, it's all about understanding diversification, the why. Day 2 is types of investments. So it's asset class and risk, the what. Day 3 is building a diversified portfolio. It's about asset allocation, the how. Day 4 is about risk management, the who. And ultimately, day 5 is all about putting it into practice, the when. And so if you're interested in the diversification challenge, just go and sign up for it. The next one is in early May. So we do them about every 2 months or so. The next one is in early May. You can literally go and sign up for it. And if you want to join our VIP, and win access to the VIP challenge, then, there's a huge amount of benefits in that. Firstly, you're going to get access to me. So I charge out at about $1,000 an hour for coaching. And during the challenge, I spend an hour after every day where I work with people. I answer any questions they've got. I try and change any belief systems that are holding them back, because I'm an internationally accredited coach, and take them through that process. So, that's worth over $5,000 alone, just working directly with me. Plus, you'll get all the replays to the event, plus the Q&As, and they'll be in an environment where you basically, can have it forever. And then, you're going to have that in terms of lifetime sort of training. And I don't know how to pronounce it. If it's Ilse said I did the challenge, definitely worthwhile. So thank you very much for that. If you're not quite sure what to do, then my strong recommendation is that you go to the investorroadmapworkshop.com/discover. And that will, actually help you to know where to go or what to do next, etc., in terms of that process. And I see Shane has very kindly put that in the chat box for you. Just save that link. Maybe you go now, maybe you go at the end, you're not quite sure. So be it. Ricky also said 5 days, well worth doing, eye opener. So thank you for the kind words, Ilse and Ricky. Okay, so I want to basically take you on a journey now, and I want to start with a story. Shane, just a note on that slide. So this story is an interesting one, and it begins with me and a group of 5 friends, and we basically decided to climb Kilimanjaro. Now, Kilimanjaro is the highest mountain in Africa, and quite a few people have it on their bucket list. I've actually been quite surprised how many people have said to me that they're interested in climbing Kilimanjaro. So in 2001, we decided to do it. Now, if you look at the date, it's literally October 2001. Now, if you remember, we had September the 11th, a month before that. So everyone was a little bit antsy. It was all a little bit weird flying from London down to Tanzania, to climb this mountain. And this was us setting out, right at the bottom, high spirits, everyone's excited. We're about to go and climb the tallest mountain in Africa. This is us on day 3, and we're sort of 3,500 meters high now. And you can start to see the circumference of the earth. We're kind of above the clouds, and there's a lot less vegetation up here. This is the morning of day 4. It's starting to get quite cold now. Us South Africans didn't have very good gear, and so we're starting to really feel the cold. And this was lunch on day 4, and it's interesting because you can now see we're really high up, and you kind of got the entire circumference of sort of Africa, behind you there. This was lunch on day 4, and I tend to joke with people, this was the last time we were smiling. This was Chifu. So what's really interesting when you do something you don't know, it can be hell of a valuable to use a guide, because a guide takes you on a journey. And if I look at it, ours was a 5-day journey. We had to go up, we had to go down because of altitude and trying to avoid altitude sickness. But every day we kind of broke the entire trip up into 5 days, and every day all we had to do was to reach the camp for that night. But Chifu was our guide. Chifu had done it hundreds, if not thousands of times, and he literally took us on the journey. And we didn't know what to do. So we just basically followed Chifu on this journey to get to the top of the highest mountain in Africa. On the afternoon of day 4, it started to get a bit messy. And my friend Adrian, who was the only Australian, started to get sick, altitude sickness, and was starting to feel really, really rough. And what was interesting is that we really started to take strain now, because there's a very little bit of oxygen in the air. And this is a video of us walking.
Talk to the camera, boys. 100 meters from base camp. How do we all feel?
You can see the speed that we're starting to walk out there. because we really are starting to get really, really tired. So this is base camp. So we get there on, I actually can't even remember now if it's day 4 or day 5. I think it was the day 4. And we camp here. And at night, we kind of go up this valley here, and then up the side here. I hope you can see my mouse. And then sort of around this top bit here, and then over the top there to the peak. We leave at 1 a.m. in the morning. And it's pretty scary. You know, at the end of the day, you know, a couple of people die every year climbing Kilimanjaro. And it's freezing cold. Your water bottles are all frozen. And, you know, you lie there in your tent kind of pretending to sleep, but you actually can't sleep. And about 1 a.m. in the morning, we set off up this mountain. And just as the sunrise was coming up, my friend Adrian fell over and started to roll down the mountain. It was, you know, pretty scary. And, you know, we sort of helped, we sort of stopped it and we kind of got it under control. And Chiefy came to me and he said, listen, Scott, if your friend continues, he will die. And it was a weird one, a very conflicting moment, because I'm a big believer that when you put your mind to something, you know, mind over matter and all that other stuff. And we had a goal, to get to the top of the mountain. And we also had, you know, don't leave anyone behind. And Chiefy said, no, I've done this many, many times, and I actually foresaw this problem coming. And I brought an extra Sherpa along, an extra guide, so that if he did get, you know, sick, he could take him down. So he'll be safe and we can continue up the mountain. So on the back of that, again, we trusted our guide, and, you know, Adrian went home and the rest of us continued on our journey. And we started, you know, getting up into the snow and into the, you know, the glaciers up at the top. And again, you can see a video of here of how slowly we're going now as we start to reach the summit.
The speed we managed most of the time. Beautiful glaciers in the background. We're about 50 odd meters from the top. Like these boys are actually flying.
So you can see what an impact, you know, the oxygen had on us. And we finally made it to the top of Kilimanjaro. And with a bit of humor, anyone that enjoys sport, whenever Australia beats us at any sport, cricket or rugby, we always just send Adrian this picture to just remind him that all the South Africans made it to the top of the mountain and the Australian didn't. Anyway, that's a bit of humor. But the honest truth is that we can take a lot away from that story, because there's a lot of parallels to the story of investing and creating globally diversified passive income. Because it feels like a big, hairy, audacious mountain. It feels difficult. It feels really hard to climb. But we can copy that journey. You know, we can make it into a 9-step process. Just like we had the camps to get up there, and there was a specific route and a specific amount of time we had to take per day. You can have you can do it all on your own. You can walk up Kilimanjaro on your own if you want to, or you can have your own chifu, and you can have a guide that helps walk you up the mountain. And you can have someone that kind of can foresee and pre-plan some of the challenges that will happen, because they do happen in investing. And so that's why I loved what Shane built for us with this framework, because it's exactly that. I'm inviting you, and we are inviting you on a journey. And the point is, you know, we're going on this 9-step journey, and the base of the journey is your why. So this is all about your fundamentals. Then we're going to your what, which is all about your setup. And then finally, we're going to your how, which is all about your investing. If you feel like it's too much information over the next 4 hours, I'm literally going to teach you a way where you can get started safely and simply. You can make a commitment to yourself, and we're literally going to show you a starter pack where we literally make it binary for you. If you want it, you get the starter pack. If you don't want it, you know, you can continue to do what you've always done, and you can hope for different results. So I'll share with you later what a starter pack is and how you can actually get going. Okay, so what is a starter pack? Just quickly, you've got access to all our foundational models. Secondly, you've got the VIP experience of the Diversification Challenge. You've got a $100 voucher, and you've got our investor priority onboarding service. So if you like me and you don't like to do retail banking, you like private banking, or you don't like to stand in a queue at the airport, you want to have the express queue, then the starter pack's been designed to help you get started in terms of that process. Okay, so let's start with the mindset now in terms of the whole process. Everyone wants results. Everyone who's here wants results. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't give up your whatever time zone you're in for the next couple of hours if you didn't want results. But what becomes really important is all the stuff below the iceberg. The habits, the emotions, the values, the thinking, the assumptions, the bias, the judgments, the defenses, etc. And what most people do is they find themselves in this away state, withdrawn, fearful, inability to make good choices, demotivated. Your challenge is to put yourself in a towards state, to be happy, to be able to think clearly, to be creative, to see new opportunities. And what I've learned over time is that there's two ways to make that a reality. The first is that you get in a like-minded group of people. So if you're a bunch of negative Nellies, your friends are all negative Nellies, your mates are negative Nellies, your family's negative Nellies, the people you work with are negative Nellies, the chances of you achieving anything are zero, because you're going to be in a away state the whole time. But if you get in a towards state with a group of like-minded people that are all pulling in the same direction, then anything is possible. So that's the first way. And the second way is that you get very clear on the outcomes you're trying to achieve. So I learned this in my coaching session. We call this the lighthouse approach. So you get very clear on the outcome. You don't even worry about the brainstorm and the action until you got very clear on the outcome. 95% of the world's caught up in problems and drama. We're not interested in the problems and drama. That's bottom-up approach. It's low-quality thinking. This is about high-quality thinking, and it's all about getting clear on the drama. So the first way, get in a like-minded group, all pulling in the same direction. And the second, get very clear on your outcomes. Now, something that I learned the hard way, and funny enough, my colleague Alex is going through the exact same training as myself at the moment, is that I'd always understand what people's problems were, and I'd turn up and tell them what to do. And I've learned that doesn't work. So if you work with me one-to-one, you'll notice that I've completely changed over the years from sitting down and understanding what your problem is and just telling you what to do to actually asking questions. Because if you come up with a solution, you're going to be 5 times more committed to the solution than if it's my solution. And there's some fascinating research that I learned. 3 months from now, if you just take what you're hearing tonight and you just kind of listen to it, according to Harvard, you'll retain less than 10% of it 3 months from now. If you actually kind of are shown and experienced it and you're kind of part of a community, you're going to remember somewhere between 30 to 65% of it. And if you actually do it, so if someone actually holds your hand and you actually do the skill, the chances are you're going to remember 95% of it. And that's why I talk so much about learning while doing. I think the old days, I've got a gift for you later that I'm going to share with you. But the old days of kind of learn something and then do it are completely wrong. It's now learn while doing. And I know some of you here are from the challenge, and so you've seen this before, but I love this learning journey because, people don't even know what they don't know. They're unconsciously incompetent. And if you take the analogy of riding a bike, if someone hasn't ridden a bike, they don't know what it's like to ride a bike. And then the first time they get on the bike, they actually realize they're consciously incompetent. Like they realize they don't even, they now know what they don't know. Then with quite a lot of practice and kind of a lot of concentration, they become consciously competent. They now know what they need to do, but they have to think about it constantly. And ultimately, you want to get to the point where you're unconsciously competent and you kind of can do it with your eyes closed and riding a bike without hands on the handlebars. So people always say to me, Scott, why are you wearing this t-shirt? And the story emulates from Richard Branson. So I had the privilege of meeting Richard Branson. I've been to his private island twice and on Necker Island. And my philosophy has always been to try to put myself in the room to be the dumbest, poorest person. So you heard me correctly. I want to put myself in the room where I'm the dumbest, poorest person, because my logic is if I'm the dumbest, poorest person, I can only grow. And so one of my dreams in life was to meet Richard Branson. So I went to Necker Island. It took me about 10 years to turn that vision into reality. and to actually go and meet him. And I had the privilege, there were 25 entrepreneurs there, including him. And it was an incredible week where I literally got to spend the entire week with him, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we only had one piece of homework, and that was that we had to bring a life hack along. And so what is a life hack? You know, think about any hack. It's a simple, quick way to get a result. And so you had these 25 incredible entrepreneurs, and each one of them had to bring a life hack. And everyone was sitting there with their notebooks, including Rich Branson, writing down all the different little, tips that everyone had. And when I came home, my partner Shane said to me, well, what are we? We're actually all wealth hackers. Because if you take it, why do I go to Neck Island and spend time with Richard Branson and hang around all the other incredible entrepreneurs? Because you're learning. You're constantly learning and growing. And, at the end of the day, I'm a wealth hacker. And you too are a wealth hacker. And so, my question is, who here is a wealth hacker? Because my assumption would be that if you're on this, workshop, or you've come to any of the other things, or even nothing to do with us, you could be reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or Think and Grow Rich, or whatever it is. We're all wealth hackers because we're all trying to hack our way there. We're all trying to get to the place of wealth in the simplest, safest way. And that's the sort of definition of a wealth hacker. And I wear it with pride. And then for our mastermind, that's sort of the top level. That's where you work with me directly and with our family office. And our mastermind was built for the sort of avatar of Jordan. So Jordan is a high net worth 55-year-old person. He's worked very hard in his life and wants to build a portfolio to ensure his wealth is preserved. He wants to build globally diversified passive income of at least $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, or even $25,000 a month, simply and safely. He wants to diversify his investments between countries, currencies, and assets. He wants to use his limited time to get effective results with predictability. He wants to save decades of frustration and millions of dollars to get the right knowledge for him and his family. He wants wealth protection, a plan B, and peace of mind. He wants to be held accountable with an accountability partner to get results. Anyone that's successful will know that having an accountability partner is critical to getting results. He wants to have a family office help manage all of his financial affairs. He wants to create generational wealth. He wants to have a fully completed and executed wealth plan and investor strategy sheet, and he wants to get results. So who here resonates with Jordan? Yes? No? It's interesting because we've got another avatar called Victoria. And Victoria is also in her mid-50s, a successful business lady. And for her, it's all about generational wealth. For her, it's all about finding time so that she can spend precious time with her family, her daughters and her granddaughters. She wants to feel empowered. She's tired of people telling her what to do with her money. And she wants to feel empowered so she can make the right decisions for her and her family. And ultimately, for her, it's about financial freedom and understanding the system so that she can set herself up for success, but also her family and her children up for success. And so if you resonate with Jordan or with Victoria, then I would highly consider joining the mastermind. And if you're interested, just type in their mastermind. So as we go on this journey, I do want to just remind you that I'm not giving you, and no one on our team is giving you financial advice. What I'm doing is I'm sharing with you my mistakes, my lessons, everything I've learned over the last 28 years. I've been doing this 28 years now. And I want to be clear, I believe I can add a hell of a lot of value, but I'm not taking accountability for the decisions you make. I want to empower you so that you can make the right decisions for you and your family. Is that fair? Yes or no? Okay, so I'm sure many of you started by reading this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And here it is. And Robert Kiyosaki sort of talks about the E, the S, the B, and the I quadrant. Now, if you haven't read it, I highly recommend going and reading it. And he talks all about the employee, the self-employed, the business owner, and the investor. And in simple terms, the employee, you're sitting on the hamster wheel. It's about active income. It's hard work, no security, and no time. The self-employed, well, they think, great, I've got myself a company. but all they've done is really bought a job. They've got large debts, insufficient funds, and stress. And 95% of the world lives in this quadrant with 5% of the wealth. So either the employee or the S quadrant is 95% of the world. On the other side, you've got passive income. That's the business owner. It's sort of easy work, stability, and spare time. I must admit, I've been a business owner for 20 plus years, and I haven't quite figured out the easy work and the spare time part yet. And then you've got the investor, and that's about no debts, plenty of money, and freedom. And 5% of the world's wealth is held in this space. Or sorry, only 5% of the world's people own this space, 95% of the world's wealth. And so the question everyone should be asking themselves, whether you're a rank beginner or highly sophisticated, is how do you actually get to that point? And it brings me to the first myth. Now, there's going to be 10 myths that we're going to go through today that I want to debunk for you. But the first one is that you need to do it all yourself. And I wanted to share with you another book. And it was this book, Real Estate Riches. So I read this book, 20 plus years ago. And it was one of the best property books I'd ever read in terms of the process. And what I found really interesting is in this book, Dolph DeRoos said, you must go out, you must look at 100 houses, you must make an offer on 10, you should get accepted for 3, and you should buy 1. And so that's what I did. I went out and I ended up buying 16 houses in different countries. And I truly thought I'll be free. I went and did it all myself. I went on all the courses. I have an honors degree cum laude in property and construction. I have a master's degree cum laude in property construction and technology. I have AIPP, which is the Association of International Property Professionals out of England, one of the highest qualifications there. I have CRS out of America, which is Certified Residential Specialist. I have PDP out of South Africa, out of the Graduate Business School, which is the property development program. I've been on every course, be it TRIOC or Dr. Hannes Dreyer or Dr. Dolph DeRoos. I've had the mentors. I've literally done it all. I've read all the books, and I spent 14 years thinking I had to do it all myself. Slaving away, must go and read, must learn more. Surely, I've got all these houses, but I'm not free yet. Okay, it must be because I don't know enough yet. Let me go and learn more. Let me go and learn more. And, this is a picture where, it's me flying over to America and spending $8,000 to learn with Dr. Dolph DeRoos. There's Dr. Dolph DeRoos. I'm on a buyer's trip with him for a week, and I'm trying to learn how to do it all myself. This is the steps of the courthouse in America, where there were huge opportunities. And, again, this was the group of us that paid to go on this buyer's trip with him. And that's the first myth that I really want to debunk for you, because I tried for 14 years to do it all myself. And then in 2010, I went on a course with Tony Robbins, and he completely changed my mindset, because he made me realize that the way to get successful was through mastery. And I'm just going to stop sharing here. Was through mastery. And so rather than trying to do everything yourself, what a master will do is that if this is you here or me, and I want to be there, so let's say that's Richard Branson and that's me. Well, I can literally know that, like, I'm going to learn, I'm going to drop off, and I'm going to learn, I'm drop off, and I'm going to learn, and I'm going to drop off. And I can have all these people that I'm going to model. Like, these are successful people that, if you want to be successful, copy successful people. If you want to be wealthy, copy wealthy people. So you can model people, and that's what people that follow mastery go for. And then I realized in 2013, 2014, that there was actually an even easier way than modeling, and that was partnership. And so I learned the hard way that for 14 years, I tried to do it all on my own. And for the last decade, I've done it all through partnership. I've realized that if this is me, and that's someone who I admire and respect, I don't need to learn everything myself to get to there. I don't even have to try and just model them. I can partner with them, and I can start to get the benefits straight away. Sorry, my nose is very itchy. I don't know why. I think it must be this fan blowing on it. So what I've just shared with you is one of the greatest gifts that I've ever learned in my life. And I hope you truly understand what I've just shared with you. Because I guarantee you that 90% plus or more people on this that are watching me right now are on the environment of they must learn it all, they must learn it all, they must do it all themselves, they must go and buy houses, and one day they'll be free. Please hear me when I tell you, I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I bought 16 in multiple different countries. And I literally thought, well, that's what I need to do. I'll be free. And I wasn't. All I did was buy a whole lot more complexity. I was trying to do everything myself. And only when I started to follow the mindset of mastery, modeling, and partnership did things dramatically change. The hassle went down, the return went up, and it dramatically changed what I learned in my life. And so, you know, I can't overemphasize the difference between trying to do it all yourself and being stuck on that hamster wheel versus partnering and going, cool, you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Thanks so much. Let me come with you and I can learn from you and invest alongside you. Think of it just like Chifu. That's exactly why I use those pictures of Kilimanjaro, because you can climb that mountain all on your own. And there's a very good chance you're either going to get lost or die, or you can do it with a guide that's done it hundreds of times. And the chances of getting to the top are geometrically different in terms of, you know, the possibility of making it. Just tell me if that makes sense, yes or no. I'm going to have a sip of water while I do that, because I want to make sure this is not going over the top of people's heads, because it was one of the greatest gifts I was ever given. And, you know, I'm bleak. It took me 14 years to figure it out, but I'm also relieved it didn't take me 40 years. Okay. So thank you for everyone making comments. I appreciate it. And for a couple that said, you know, that describes you, I get it completely. You know, that's we've all kind of been on. And just by the way, I don't know how to say this without being negative, but in books like this, Real Estate Riches and Rich Dad Poor Dad, and all the courses that are out there on how to buy houses, they're teaching middle class and professional people how to do stuff that's easy, because that's what makes them the most money. Just think about that for a little while. Is it easy helping people invest in commercial buildings? Is it easy helping people invest like the top 1%? No. So why not just do what's easy and make lots of money? That's why they teach you to buy residential houses. But no one has ever got properly wealthy by buying residential houses. So the motto that we live by is simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So this is by Leonardo da Vinci, and I love it. So I'm going to share with you a bunch of stuff today that you might think, wow, that's so simple, or it sounds too good to be true. But just keep remembering that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. I'll share with you my why later. But in simple terms, my dream has been to marry together property and technology since I was a young boy. And all we've tried to do the entire time is make it simpler and safer. Oh, sorry, Shane, good point. All we've wanted to do the whole time is make it simpler and safer, simpler and safer. And so as Leonardo da Vinci said, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. What Shane's done is he's literally taken my brain, our collective investor brain, and he said, right, it feels super complex, but actually there's 9 steps. And what we're going to do now is we're literally going to run through those 9 steps. Literally today, we're going to run through those 9 steps. So who here is ready to rock and roll? Who wants to learn the 9 steps? And by the end of today, literally have a game plan to earn globally diversified passive income. Yes or no? Okay, lots of yeses and readies. Okay, so let's go to the 6 needs of an investor. So this is the first one that I think is relevant. And the first one is belief. So I learned this the hard way, actually. You know, we built the platform, we built the Wealth Migrate platform. I was like, cool, here we go. As you got the platform, you can all just go and invest in it now. And it was actually one of the ladies in our marketing department, and she earned really good money, actually. And she turned to me once and she said, yeah, but I'm not like you and your co-founder who were born with a silver spoon in their mouth, which, by the way, is bullshit. We'll go to that just now as well. But in her mind, it wasn't possible for her. And I realized that day that we were missing a fundamental cog in the wheel, which is why we built the Wealth University. Because if you don't have belief, you're never going to get there. As Henry Ford said, I think, therefore I am. He said something along the lines of, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So the first thing is belief. And one of the major intentions of what we're going to share with you today and why we do the challenge and a bunch of other courses and stuff through the Wealth University is we want you to have the belief that it's even possible. It's one of the reasons why we share real people, real stories. Because if thousands and thousands of other people can do it, then why can't you? The second is knowledge. So, we want to be able to provide you with the knowledge because people need the knowledge. We want you to be empowered. But I do think you need to be very, very careful of myth number 2. And that is that there's some big fancy course that you need to go on. And only when you do that big fancy course, I don't know, it might be a degree, it might be an MBA. I've heard of a property course by one of the companies I've already mentioned today that charges $250,000. You heard me correctly, $250,000, and you fly to England and you do a property course. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, it's actually retarded. Because if you're going to spend $250,000 on a course, I would recommend just investing in a bunch of property. You'll learn a shitload more than just learning all the theory. Point number 3 is access and investment. So it's all good and well learning the theory, but you actually need to invest and you need access to good opportunities. You need a system. No matter what you do, you need a system. Number 4, you need support and accountability. And then number 5, it's all about success, whatever that means to you, results, wealth, freedom, whatever it is. And some people say, oh, but that's the end of the journey. No, it's not, because ultimately it's a spiral. And again, I learned this from Tony Robbins. It can be an upward spiral or it can be a downward spiral. So let's assume that you have the belief and you take action and you get some knowledge and you invest and you use the system and you use the support and accountability and you get some results. You're going to start to have more beliefs. You're going to take more action. And this is just going to be an upward spiral. It's going to get bigger and bigger, and your life is going to be very, very different in 10 years from where you are today. But what about if you don't have the belief? What about if you do nothing and you take no action? You're going to get no results, which is going to reinforce your belief that it's not possible. And your life is going to be very, very different 10 years from now because of the downward spiral. Can you see that it's literally an upward spiral or a downward spiral? And it emulates from belief and from your mindset. Lee said a downward contracting spiral. I'm not quite sure what that means. But the point being is that you get to choose. Are you going on an upward spiral or are you going on a downward spiral? And I'm going to give you a lot of decisions to make today. And you get to decide which way your spiral is going for you over the next 10 years. So, believe it or not, that is step 1. And if you've got any questions, for step 1, let me know. Otherwise, I literally want to pivot directly into step 2 because it's not difficult. Those are the 6 beliefs. I've helped thousands and thousands and thousands of investors from 178 countries. I've helped highly sophisticated people. And I'd actually be quite an idiot if I just didn't spot patterns. And these are the 6 fundamental needs that all investors have. Whether you're a rank beginner or highly sophisticated, all investors have the same 6 needs in terms of this process. So if there are no questions, let's go to step 2, which is all about your wealth plan. Now, we've built an entire course to help you do this. But for the purposes of today, Shane has very kindly given you the resources. So let's just go back to the resource guide and look how cool this is. You literally go to the wealth plan certificate and you can literally go and open it. So there's my wealth plan certificate. And you can see there that I've downloaded it. And there's my wealth plan certificate. So your personal own wealth plan certificate. If I go back to the resources, we're now going to, if you want a copy, so I'm a big believer in copying. So when I did my 2 dissertations, I literally went along to the university both for my undergrad, my honors, and for my masters. And I went in, I said, right, tell me who, who cum laude had their degree. And they said, those ones over there. And I went and looked at them. I looked at the structure. I didn't copy the content because I created my completely own dissertation, but I copied their structure. And I too cum laude both my honors degree and my master's degree. So I'm a big believer in not starting from scratch. Again, you're going to hear me talk about modeling, mastery, and partnership all the way through. It's just been ingrained in me my whole life. So if you want to look at my wealth plan, there it is. You can literally go and read it. Shane has given it to you as an example. And then the other bit that you want is the freedom calculator. And literally you go in, it's a Google Doc so that every single person has access to Google on the planet. And there you've got your own wealth plan calculator, freedom calculator. So those are the tools. Now, some people sit here and they go, oh, what's all this about? And I go, well, I've just given you some of the most powerful tools that I've ever come across and that we've created over the last 28 years. And we're going to give you them for the vast sum of no money. We're giving it to you for free. And why are we giving them to you is because we want to empower you. We want you to have the tools so that you can be empowered and you can get the results you want. So the 4-step wealth formula, this happened a couple of years ago. I stand to be corrected, but I think it was 2021. And Shane came to me and he sent me a task. He said, Scott, I want you to teach me and others how to do this in 60 minutes. I want you to teach me how to have a personal wealth plan to move from the employee to the self-employed quadrant to freedom of the investor quadrant as quickly, simply, and safely and predictably as possible, without being trapped by the financial industry, scammed, giving away your power to someone else, or adding additional stress or hassle to your life. Now, that was quite a task that he set me, I'm not going to lie, because he was basically saying, how do you move through that whole quadrant thing, simply and safely? How do you set up your wealth plan? How do you not give away your power to other people? And how do you do it all in 60 minutes? And they always say in life, if you want great outcomes, if you want great results, then you have to ask great questions. So that's the question he asked. And so Shane and I worked together, to take the sort of thinking out of my head and to conceptualize it for people. So it starts with your why. And I would highly recommend you go and watch Simon Sinek's talk. It's the second most watched TED talk, of all time. And most people want to know the how and the what. How do I make money? What do I do? But it's all about the why. If you get very clear on your why, then you can literally achieve anything you want in your life in terms of that process. So most investors, why? If we're talking globally diversified passive income, why do you diversify? Why do you invest internationally? Well, you want to preserve your wealth. Secondly, you want a plan B. Thirdly, you want peace of mind. And fourthly, you want freedom. And so when we do the wealth plan, the very first part of the wealth plan, this top part over here, is all about your why. How do you actually, why are you doing this? It's very, very important that you get clear on your why. Now, if you want to understand me better, and you want to understand the DNA of our company better, then let me explain to you quickly my why, because I think it's important. So that's me and my dad. I was 13 years old, and I was working on my first property with my father. Now, my dad did what you were all told to do. We were all told to go to school, go to university, get a great job, invest, put your money towards retirement and retire happily ever after. Yes or no? We were all told to do that. My dad did it. And yet at the age of 59, he died, and he died broke. And I was horrified by the whole thing. And I went and learned from a guy called Dr. Hannes Dreyer, and he said, no, actually, statistically in England, Australia, and America, 94% of people will follow my dad. They'll be dead, broke, or reliant on the government. 5% of people will be financially independent. And people are like, woohoo, I want to be financially independent. But they don't know that the financial industry says that to be financially independent, you earn 25% less than your last paycheck. Now, I don't know about you, but that's just financially trapped. And the last 1% are the only ones at 65 that get to be wealthy. And I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, no one's even winning the race. 100 people are starting the race and 99 of them are failing. They don't even get over the finish line. And I just went, there's got to be a better way. You know, I loved computers. And at the age of 6, I was programming on a Commodore 64. Yes, back in 1983. I love Monopoly. I've always loved Monopoly. And I've always wanted to play global Monopoly. And I've wondered together how we can marry together technology and property. I also grew up in a continent where the wealth gap is astounding. You know, the rich, the top 1% continue to get wealthier and wealthier. And for those of you on the challenge, can you remember why? What is the reason why the top 1% get wealthier than anyone else? Can anyone remember, or can anyone tell me? Just chuck it in the chat box. Investments, better assets, real estate. Nice, I can see the people who've done the challenge. So yeah, the bottom line is they invest in better assets. So yes, they've got belief. Yes, they've got partners. Yes, they invest. Yes, their money works for them. But the bottom line is they invest in better assets. Where you live in the world has a dramatic impact on your wealth. Whether you're a male or female has a dramatic impact on your wealth. And even the timing of when you were born has a massive impact on your wealth. And when we did the research, I was astounded to find that 49% of the world's wealth is held in real estate, in property. And yet only 12.9% of the world's population actually has access to property. And of that 12.9%, only 1% has access to commercial property and other alternative assets. And I was like, that's ridiculous. That's why this wealth gap and all of these problems like the ones my father experienced, they're never going to change unless we can use technology to help everybody invest like the top 1%. Unless we can use technology to help everybody invest like the top 1%. So that is our why. And I've built all of the businesses that I've built so far using Zig Ziglar's principle. You can have anything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. Why am I standing here tonight? Why am I passionate about what I do? If I can help you all get globally diversified passive income, do you think that maybe I can get globally diversified passive income? Can you see how it's a symbiotic relationship? Our vision is to make investing as simple as a swipe of a finger and ultimately to get it to as little as $1. And the whole philosophy was that $1 will never change your life. But if I can change your habits, I can change your life. And so now I want to help you fill in your wealth plan. You know my why. And we're going to take a little bit of time just to do this. And you can do it again as homework tonight as well. But there's 4 simple steps to the wealth formula. So the first one is you need to figure out your goal in your cash flow. So you literally go to here and you say, what is my goal? I mean, this can be $3,000. It doesn't matter. You can make it whatever you like. And the beauty is this calculator is interactive. So you can put it in any currency you want and you can compare it to any currency. So it can be, I would highly recommend that you use probably the US dollar as the reserve currency of the world. I'm not getting into a currency debate. And if you live in South Africa or the UK or anything else, you can then convert it here. And this links straight into the, to the digital exchange. So it's updated, daily. So your first target is, what is your passive freedom goal? How much passive income do you need per month to be free, to pay your expenses, to be free? Your second step is the formula. Then you must figure out how much capital you need based on the average cash on cash return. So if I go back here, I would, if you don't know the cash on cash return, I would work on 8%. And in simple terms, the calculator works it out for you. So you've told it that it needs $3,000, you want $3,000 a month, and you've told it that you're going to get 8% average income per year. Well, that means that you need that much capital. Now, before you get scared, don't worry. I'm going to show you how to do this. So that's the second step. The third step is now you do the plan. Then you need to figure out how much you must invest per month and for how long to achieve the goal. So this is where the calculator is fun, because you go in and you put in your starting capital. So I don't know, maybe you got $25,000 in the house and you're going to invest, I don't know, $200 a month. And you want that to increase by 10% a year. Because I mean, ideally you should be trying to invest, more per year. You're going to get a return of about 15%. So if you're not sure on your numbers, I would work on 8% cash on cash and 15% IRR. They're good, solid, middle of the road numbers. And then you got the number of years. And you can see here from the calculator, red is never a good thing, it's not working. So let's try 15 years. Oop, it's still not working. Let's try 20 years. Oh, it's in the green. Okay, great. So I'm free in 20 years. What about 19 years? Yep, I'm free in 19 years. 18 years. Yep, I'm free in 18 years. 17 years. Oop, no, it's 18 years. Now, the year at the moment is 2024. I'm currently 47, which means I'll be free at 65. And the beauty of this calculator is you can't break it. So you can literally go and play around. And it's like a seesaw. You either have more money and less time, or more time and less money. It's very simple. More money and less time, and less money and more time. Is the calculator based on a 4% drawdown? No, Jane, it's saying that you're getting an 8% cash on cash. So that number there that you can see there is an 8% cash on cash. Now, some people say to me, Scott, is the calculator 100% correct? No, it's not. It's probably somewhere between 90 and 95% correct. I've been and owned calculators from people where I had to go on a course. The one guy I had to go on a course for an entire day. Another guy had to go on a course for the best part of a week to use the calculator. I don't see the point of that. There's too many variables in life that you don't know. No calculator is going to be guaranteed correct anyway. So rather have something that's 90 to 95% accurate, but that's simple and easy to use. And I can teach you how to do it in 10 minutes. Would you not agree that that's more powerful than something that's ultra sophisticated? The chance of you knowing how to use it are like zero. Even when you do it for an entire week, you're probably going to cock it up. Like, why not just keep it simple? Simplicity is power. Yes, it is being recorded. Is 8% realistic? Completely. So 8% is very, very realistic in the space we're in when you look at the averages. So what does this all mean? Well, now you go to step 4, and now you got the results, and you basically stick to the formula, you measure, track, and keep going. So myth number 3 is that you've got one single, perfect investment. It's like, oh, if I'd invested in Google, I'd be free today. Or maybe if I'd invested in Uber or Airbnb, I'd be free today. Or if I'd invested in Bitcoin 10 years ago, I'd be free today. Or if I'd bought that one property that's been amazing, I'd be free today. And the thing that I've learned from wealthy people is that it's not about one deal that makes the difference. It's about the consistency. It's about the discipline of saying, right, this is my plan. I'm going to stick to my plan, and I'm going to invest every month, every quarter, every year, and I'm going to stick to my plan. So myth number 3, there's no such thing as one phenomenal investment. It's about the consistency that actually counts over time. And so what you end up doing is you get your wealth plan and you get your investor strategy sheet. Now, just to show you what we're talking about here, is that Shane then set me a further challenge. And I wrote a book, Property Going Global, many years ago, 10 years ago to be exact. And so we did the digital upgrade of this last year called Wealth Going Global. And what's fascinating here is that it's a 6-module course that we've taken you through, and you can literally go through the 6 modules. So, how do I get clear on my top 5 whys? What are the top 5 countries to invest in? What are the top 5 currencies to invest in? What are the top 15 assets to invest? How do I find the right partners? How do I build my wealth plan? you know, and how do I use technology basically. And if you look at the course, the part I love most with the course is that Shane's actually built it where you can literally go in and it builds you an entirely automated wealth plan. So if you've done your sort of your steps all the way through the 5 modules, you literally get to the end and it'll build you a fully automated wealth plan with your why, your how, and your what. If you go here and you want your investor strategy report, it also gives you an entire investor strategy report. And again, these are all personalized. It's not someone else. It's not someone telling you this is your own personal, you know, wealth plan, and this is your own personal investor strategy report. You know, what are the top 5 countries to invest in? What are the top currencies? And what are the top assets? Now, if you want to do it all on your own, Shane has very kindly given you the tools. And so let me just go back to that downloaded certificate. You can literally go in, you can put your name in, you can print this, you can type it, you can write it, you can go in and put all your whys in. You then go down here and you go, my passive freedom goal. If you remember from this thing here, no, sorry, it's this way. There, it was $3,000. Why is it not coming up? I'm confused now where my calculator's gone. There's my calculator. Why is this thing not coming up as a PDF thing? Okay, this is weird. Anyway, let's just do it like this then. What is going on? Okay, I'm very confused. So now there's the plan. Let me just open it. I don't know why it's not opening up as a separate document. Oh, now it's finally opened up as a PDF. So anyway, again, you can go and you put your name in, you put your whys in. Now you go in here and you got your $3,000. So again, it can be whatever number you want. Then, you know, so if you just fill in the rest, your cash on cash is 8%. You know, how much am I going to invest in my wallet? Well, if I go back here, I said I was going to invest $200 a month. I'm taking a target return of 15. I aim to invest for, what did we say, 17 years. I'll be free in the year of, what year was it? 2042. I'll be age 65. I aim to start hopefully on today's date, 6th of March, 2024, and you can print it and sign it. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but what I'm trying to share with you here is something that is so simple and so safe for you to kind of get going. And if you want substance, we've built Wealth Going Global. It's there. So if you want to do it on your own, like I told you, most people like me for the first 14 years, Shane's given it to you. He's given you the calculator. He's given you the certificate. I sometimes say to him, hey, dude, we should sell that to people. You know, because when people pay, they pay attention. But anyway, there's part of us that equally, there's no barrier. Like you've got it. There it is. You've got the tools. Go and do it yourself. If you want someone to hold your hand, we've literally built the course as a home study course. You know, and just acknowledge that today, what we're doing is I'm just trying to show you the tip of the iceberg. I'm trying to show you how to work, but how it works if you want to do it yourself. But we're also, you know, giving you the below the iceberg, you know, you've got Wealth Going Global if you want the substance. Is that fair? I'm just interested what people's thoughts are. Like, I don't know if people understand how important it is to actually have a one-page wealth plan. Like, what is your why? What is your how? And what is your what? Cool. Let's move to number 3. All about investment categories and opportunities. So again, in the resources, Shane has given you access to a whole bunch of cheat sheets. So you've got investment terminology, you've got commercial real estate as an asset class, and you've got the real estate value asset chain. So we're going to basically keep you like, we're going to give you so much stuff today. You're going to be like, oh my word, I can't believe I'm getting all this stuff for free. But anyway, these are all the cheat sheets that you can go away and you can look at over time. So whether you want to invest in America, England, Europe, Australia, South Africa, it doesn't really matter. If you want to invest in multiple different asset classes, you've got things like bank products, financial products, bonds, stocks, REITs, funds, syndication, real estate, residential, real estate, commercial, crypto, all different types of investments. Now, in the challenge and in Wealth Going Global, I go into a lot of detail around the different asset classes. What are their pros? What are their cons? Which ones do we believe you should be investing in? But to keep it simple today, I want to talk about property. I want to talk about real estate. And I want to share with you the real estate value chain, because I think it's so fundamentally important that you understand what is wrong with the current investment scenario. So again, I learned this having watched thousands and thousands of investors invest $1.3 billion across 5 continents. And again, simplicity is power, where, people go, oh, it sounds too good to be true. No, this is what I've learned are the patterns from real estate. So the problem is that most of us invest just, this is you or me, Jill or Joe Soap, and we invest in property, okay? There's 16 different middlemen all the way through the process. There's a whole bunch of fees. There's no trust. There's no transparency. And because of the high fees, there's low returns and no alignment. Okay, and people turn to me and go, but Scott, you're wrong. I go, okay, then why do 99% of people, fail by the time they get to 65? Fact. So it brings up myth number 4, and that's that people think, I must go buy a single home or an apartment. Don't worry, I'll diversify to South Africa. I'm going to go and buy a house in Manchester. Or, I'm going to go and buy a single apartment in Cape Town. I'm like, again, I've been there, I've done that, I've got the t-shirt, I've got the battle wounds, the scars, and I can tell you what doesn't work. So let's look at the value chain of real estate to truly understand how and where money is made in property. There's lots of different stages, but there's 5 main stages. You've got land zoning, you've got the developer, you've got the investor, you've got the fund and the REIT, and then you've got you and me. So a land developer is looking for a return, an IRR, of about 30%. And now some people turn to me and they go, Scott, I don't get 30%. Well, I know you might not necessarily get it, but that's the target return of what they're looking for. A developer is looking for a return of about 25%. An investor is looking for an income of about 20%. Now, what's the difference between them? A land developer is someone that goes out and he takes a farm field, it's called greenfield, and he gets it zoned into brownfield. So it can now be developed. A developer is someone who goes and builds a vertical infrastructure. So it might be a factory, it might be a shopping center, it might be an office block, it might be a house. But the point being is that it's a vertical structure. And then comes the investor. They buy the vertical structure and they put a tenant in it in terms of the process. Now, the best way that I've found and seen in property or real estate that anyone makes money is that then comes along a property fund or a REIT, a real estate investment trust, and something's talking to me, my Siri or something. And they're looking to buy income. So they're looking to buy stabilized income. So if you take your pension fund, what are you looking for when you invest in a pension fund? Why do you invest in a pension fund? Anyone? Why do you invest in a pension fund? Okay, apparently no one knows why they invest in a pension fund. Security, monthly income, security in old age, guaranteed income. Exactly, so it's income, it's predictable income. So they buy predictable income. And there's a good example, you and I come along below them and we earn kind of 2 to 6%, and we battle to beat inflation. And we wonder why we at best are financially trapped and at worst are poor or broke or dead. So here's an article. You can go to my LinkedIn profile and you can read all about it if you want to. And this was in the Financial Business Day. And it talks all about a developer and a fund. So the developer is the Billion Group, and they literally go and, you know, develop all these shopping centers, and they sell the shopping centers to the Robosis Group. That's a listed vehicle on the stock exchange. And then you and I come along as investors, and the financial planners put us in to this company called the Robosis Group. What's interesting is that they go on to say that the shopping centers are grossly overvalued, and, you know, the investors are investing in rubbish. And it's the same story over and over and over again, where the most money is made by investors that consolidate a group of properties. They get predictable rent on those properties, and then they sell it on to a property fund or a REIT. And if that's the case, if you take the value chain of real estate, and if these are the middlemen, why would you not just want to cut out the middlemen and invest directly as an investor and or directly as a developer? I ask you that. And having done this thousands of times all over the world, just some of the barriers people give me as reason. How do I protect myself? It's too expensive, too complicated, time and money, ongoing management. I don't know how, too much compliance. It sounds too good to be true. Access to deals. There are too many scams, difficult to invest offshore. I don't have time. I need the right structures. You know, but ultimately it comes down to three more myths. I don't have the time, I don't have the money, and I don't have the knowledge. I don't have the time, I don't have the money, and I don't have the knowledge. I say, I don't agree with this, because I'm going to share with you how using technology, you can completely condense time. Where you say you don't have the money, there's platforms like Migrate where you can now invest from $10. So I believe anyone can participate. And I don't have the knowledge. You know, you don't have to know everything anymore, because you can partner with people that do know what they're doing, and therefore you can leverage on their knowledge. So if you tell me I don't have the time, the money, or the knowledge, which are the three biggest reasons that hold people back, I believe nowadays those are not excuses you can use anymore, because all three of them are debunked. I'll give you an example. We all know Uber. You know, before we had cell phones and before Uber arrived, you know, if I went to London Heathrow, I would have to phone the Taxi Owners Association, that would phone the taxi owner, that would phone the taxi driver. About 2 hours later, he'd come to pick me up. If I didn't know my way around London, he would drive me around and get me lost, and the meter would be going up the whole time. It was a very expensive and highly unprofessional and horrible service. And then came Uber, and the wealthiest people in the world, they had access to private drivers, but no one else did. And suddenly comes Uber, and we all had access to private drivers. And now we arrive at Heathrow, and they've cut out the middlemen, they've cut out the costs, they've directly put us in contact with the driver, they've dramatically increased the trust, the transparency, and the accessibility. We've all got access to private drivers now. And, you know, this is a picture of my friend who left his cell phone in an Uber, and, you know, about 5 minutes later or 10 minutes later, the Uber was back to deliver back his cell phone. It's just fascinating how when technology comes to a sector, they cut out the middlemen, they cut out the costs, and they dramatically increase the trust, the transparency, and the accessibility. So our philosophy is, well, if it can happen in the transport industry, why can't it happen in the investment space, in the property industry? And so we talk about cutting out the middlemen and just investing directly with the partners. We call that income. So in income producing deals. And if you want to go straight into developments, then, you know, it's called a growth deal. Now, if you want to get a little bit more sophisticated, what we do is we help people invest in alternative assets on the marketplace. We help them do it in a safe and compliant way using our fintech platform. And some of the fancy words that are out there are fractionalization. Some people call it crowdfunding. But in simple terms, what I say to people is that it's having the technology to bring people together and just to invest. It's the exact same way that investors, sophisticated and high net worth investors, have been investing for centuries. All that we've done is use technology to make it accessible to everyone else. So, you know, when you look at alternative assets, there's a massive, massive growth in alternative assets around the world. And more people, you know, 1.1 trillion is estimated to be invested in alternative assets over the time. It's dramatically increasing at the moment. If you take ultra high net worth, so that's people that are 30 million plus, more than 50% of their portfolios in alternative assets. Now, there'll be some of you on this workshop that don't even know what an alternative asset is. That's quite scary, don't you think? If the wealthiest people in the world, there's 579,000 of them to be exact, and more than 50% of their portfolios in alternative assets, surely yours should look something similar to that? Yes or no? Just tell me yes or no. I'm interested. 87% of private investors planning on maintaining or increasing their allocation to alternative assets in this decade. Now, how many of you, if you're honest, you don't have to put it in the chat box, but you can just own it, you don't even know what alternative assets are? And then you start to look at returns. And, it's interesting because this comes from the SEC, which is the regulator in America. And over 25 years, the stock market, the S&P 500 in blue, has earned a return of about 80%. Whereas private equity in orange has earned a return of about 12%. Yet when you look at risk, the stock market actually has a lot more risk. It's actually higher than private equity. And when you take Wealth Migrate, for the last 10 years, we've had a return of roughly 14%. Nosiwe, if you want to know what, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, alternative assets are, I highly, highly recommend that you come to the challenge because I go through that in a lot of detail. And Milani, you've said on which online platform can you invest in real estate globally? Wealth Migrate. I'm going to show you literally today. I'm going to show you, if you stay online, I'm going to show you how to do it from $10. So the average return that we've achieved over the last 10 years is a cash on cash of about 8% plus. So that's income in your pocket of 8% a year, and an IRR, internal rate of return, of roughly 14%. And thanks, Shane, for putting up the link if people want to join the challenge. So what's our solution? Well, we've actually got members in 178 countries. We've got investors in 71 countries, and we help people invest in America, in Europe, in Australia, and in England. If you want to get complicated and how it all works, in simple terms, we go out and we find the best suppliers around the world, and we actually bring them onto the platform, and we allow you and I to invest on the platform. So there's multiple steps that happen below the iceberg. Country due diligence, sponsor due diligence, legal documentation, brokers, lawyers, deal due diligence, tax, investor onboarding, family office, secure data, client services, banks, management accounts, KYC, AML, investor reporting. I tend to tell people you can do it all yourself, or you can use technology and have 4 simple steps. You can sign up for free, you can set up your account, you can browse and invest, and you can earn an income. 4 simple steps. So how does it work? Well, the old way was that you would go along to a financial advisor, who would go to a financial institution, who would go to, through an investment vehicle, who would finally invest. 16 different steps. Now we just put you directly in contact with the investment. We cut out all the middlemen. We put you directly into the investment where you partner directly with the partner. So you cut out all the costs, you cut out the middlemen, and you dramatically increase the trust, the transparency, and the accessibility. What else does it do? Well, by focusing on the top 1% and investing with where the top 1% invest, you're dealing with institutional quality deals. I'm not interested in dealing with mom and pop investors. The middle class and the professionals, they invest in mom and pop deals. These type of books teach you how to be a mom and pop investor. But if you want to play with the middle class, then you will always be middle class. If you want to invest like the top 1% and partner with the top 1%, you've got a far better chance of getting far better returns. Is that a fair assessment? You've got to change the mindset, and I go into this in a lot of detail in the challenge, around stopping investing like a mom and pop and starting to invest like an institutional investor. However, using technology, there's lower investment minimums, and you get access to better quality deals. You know, if you want to, and I'm going to use the positive word of mom and pop, but I could also use another word of rats and mice. If you want to run around and buy houses with all the other moms and pops and all the other rats and mice, there's a huge amount of competition. And so the chances of finding good deals are very, very small. But if you go up to the institutional level, where all the mom and pops and the rats and mice can't play, would you agree that there'll be far better quality deals there with much lower risk and actually better return because there's a lot less competition? Why do you think the institutions play at this level and they let the mom and pops and the rats and mice play at this level? I'm sorry to be direct, and I'm sorry to be horrible, but this was a hard lesson I had to learn because I was playing around here with the moms and pops and the rats and mice, and I was trying to do everything that I was told to do in all the books and the courses, but I wasn't getting wealthy. And then I finally figured out that there was a whole nother game going on, and so I started to play this game, and that's when things dramatically started to change. And then I actually felt, well, this is ridiculous. Why don't we build a platform and help other people that play at this level? You need to decide. Do you want to be a mom and pop investor and play with the rats and mice? Or do you want to, play at the institutional level, even if you're starting with $10? Don't tell me you don't have the money. Don't tell me you don't have the time. Don't tell me you don't have the knowledge, because all three of those don't count. It just comes down to making a decision that you want to play at the institutional level. So what I suggest, what's the time there quickly? Let's take a 2-minute toilet break. Literally, I'm just going to switch off my camera for 2 minutes and we will have a quick 2-minute break. I'm going to run to the toilet myself and you can just stretch your legs, etc. This is a long, detailed process that we're going through today. And I just want to make sure that you all have a little break. So let me just play this. Where's my countdown video gone? Is this the right one?
Studio door this morning.
Right one. Let me just get it up for you. Oh, that's the one I want. So I'm going to make it. Okay, we're back in the building. So just a short break. I know this says 10 minutes, but my philosophy is, I've got so much to share with you. We can take these nice long breaks or whatever, or we can kind of stay on track. But I do think what's important is if you've been sitting on your bum, just try and stand up, move a little bit, twist, touch your toes. It's always good to get the blood flowing. Remembering that, 3-4 hours of sitting on your bum, and it's really important to stay engaged, stay awake. So that move around. I actually stand while I'm presenting. I don't know if you can see that, and it's much better for getting it sorted. Yes, there is a recording available in terms of the process. So how are you feeling? If I share my screen now, you can actually see that you've finished the first step, the first 3 steps actually, and you've done the fundamental level. So you've basically finished the why. How are you feeling? Tell me where you're at. I'd love to know what your thoughts are, because we're now going to move on to the what. And, we're going to go through the due diligence and the partners, etc. So I know it's a bunch of information. I know it can feel overwhelming, but we're consciously taking on this journey, 9 steps to take you through this journey in terms, to get you right there. So again, if you go to your resources, you've got access to the partners and the due diligence. Now, where did this all start? Well, back in 2013, I'd been watching Clem Sunter for a number of years. I don't know, I'd seen him at least 5 or 6 years. And Clem Sunter is one of the top strategists in the world. And he's worked with the Harvard School of Business. He's worked with the Chinese government. He's worked with the South African government in terms of the whole transition back in 1994. He's a Cambridge or Oxford. I apologize. I can't remember which one. And he also was chairman of Anglo American, which is a very famous company in the world, Anglo Gold to be exact. And what was interesting is that I would listen to his scenario planning, because he would talk about these different scenarios, and he would talk about the flags, and he'd talk about the probabilities. And I found it absolutely fascinating. But, after about 5 or 6 years of walking out of these talks, I thought to myself, well, what the hell's the point of just listening to these talks if I don't take it and figure out a way to take the information he's teaching me so that I can make better decisions? And so long story short, I created a 4-dimensional model and to make better decisions about the scenarios he was sharing. And I shared it with him about a year later. I was a bit embarrassed because, I didn't know if it was any good. And I shared it with him about a year later, and he was so impressed by it that he said, I have to write a book. Now, I'll be honest with you, it was not a desire of mine to write a book. But anyway, here's the book. It came out in 2013, Property Going Global. And when Clem Sunter says he'll endorse a book, you take advantage of that. So the book came out in 2013, and it was really the start of all this due diligence, because at the time we did the research, and 80% of people that invested overseas lost money. And I was like, that's despicable. Why don't we write a book to teach people how to do it, how to find the right information, how to be able to ask the right questions, etc. That then evolved into GIDS, which is our global investment due diligence system, which is a 10-layered system to be able to make the right decisions. So, what countries do you want to be in? What currencies do you need to take into account? What cities do you want to be in? How do you go and find the right partners? How do you do an analysis on the actual property? How do you structure and make sure that it's optimized? How do you do pre-purchase due diligence to avoid fraud and all of that? How do you maximize your investment ongoing? How do you take care of the management? How do you get the money and ultimately the returns? And finally, how do you get results? So there's multiple levels to our GIDS system. And again, in both the challenge and in Wealth Going Global, I go into this in a lot more detail. But just to visually show you some of the things that are important. The first one is our global property system, which again is the calculator, and it helps you know where to invest, because ultimately on the left-hand side here, you've got low return, high return, and at the bottom here, you've got low risk, high risk. So you want to be in this top left corner where you've got high return, low risk. And I did this as part of Wealth Going Global, so I'm giving you a little bit of a cheat here, but there's only 2 countries at the moment that are in the kind of high return, low risk category, and that's America and India. Okay, you got South Africa, which is in high return, high risk, and then you can kind of see the rest are clumped around here. Now, this is not my opinion. This is literally based on the data, the models, the facts, the fundamentals. So if you take that into a deeper level, this is the way we kind of work. So we scope and we look at who are the different types of partners that we would like to work with. Most often now, all of our partnerships come through relationships. We then do a due diligence on that partner. So it's all about choosing the partner first, and then the deal. We make a decision. We then do a due diligence on the deal. We make another decision. The deal then goes live on the platform. We start to raise on the platform. We then close the deal and do a book build on the platform. We set up the structure. We implement the investment. We get the deal distributions every quarter. We track the deal on an ongoing basis. We exit the deal. We get our capital gain back. We get the return of capital and your funds available for reinvesting. So, I mean, that's the process overall. And if I get to myth number 8, people would say to me, well, I can do a due diligence on my own. I'm a highly sophisticated investor in London or Cape Town or whatever. And I go, yeah, no, I have no doubt. But I honestly believe it's naive, if not arrogant, to think that you can do a due diligence and know every single market, every single city, every single sector, every single asset class in different markets around the world. It's basically impossible. And because it takes about 10 years plus, it's called the rule of 10,000 hours to really learn something. And so you can try and do it all yourself, or a far, far safer and simpler method is through partnership. So let me show you visually what I just showed you, because some people like me like visual. So you're an investor, you and me, and each one of us has an investor wallet. So we integrate with Lemonway, the digital wallet provider. And then we have the platform. So this is the Wealth Migrate platform. And then basically you've got the investment opportunities. So this might be an industrial deal in America. And then basically we aggregate. So what that means is that all of us investors come together. So again, rather than investing as individuals, we invest together, which gives us the buying power of the institutions. Then we set up a company structure, an SPV, that's done in a very tax efficient manner. And then we have deal ownership. So you've got complete deal ownership, complete transparency. When the deal pays a dividend, it goes back into the deal wallet, which goes back into the individual's wallet. And then the individual's in complete control of their money, and they can send it back to their bank accounts or do whatever they want with it. So visually, that's how it works. And that's how technology has dramatically improved this process and basically given you access to deals that previously you never had access to. Now, how do we choose our partners? This is not our opinion. This is how partners are ranked around the world. And again, in your cheat sheets, you've got all of this. You can actually go and read all about this. It's in the cheat sheets. But in simple terms, if they're tenured, they've been in business for 50 years, or sorry, their experience is 50 years. They've been in business for 15 years plus, and they've got $1 billion or more in assets under management. If they're established, it's 40 years. The company's operating age is 7 to 15 years, and they got over 500 million in assets under management. If they're developed, it's 30 years, 3 to 6 years, and 200 million. And if they're emerging, often what emerging means is that you've got partners that have got significant experience, but they've got quite a new company that's only been going 3 years or so. So to give you an example of this, Feldman is one of those tenured partners. They've got 100 million invested themselves. They've got over 100 years worth of experience. They've been through 7 recessions. They've got $3 billion under management and 4 million square feet. And to give you an example of a deal, we invested in December 2020 with them. It was COVID time and everyone was running away from office. And yet there was a significant opportunity in Florida, in America. And we invested. I never thought I would own a bank building like this, but we do. I do. And it's paying us a 9.63% cash on cash return and a 16% IRR. And you can see on the platform here that this is a tenured sponsor. Another example is MAG. They've got 302 assets under management, 43 properties. They've had an average return of 18% IRR and a 9% cash on cash. And this was a deal we did with them. It was this industrial logistics building. It was an 8.3% cash on cash and a 12% IRR. And again, a tenured partner. If we take this one, this was also a MAG deal, and this was actually a debt deal, so it was a 10.5% cash return. Again, another industrial building. It was only a 1-year deal, but they are also tenured. Then you've got a structured note. which is held by BNP Paribas, one of the top banks in the world, literally AAA rated bank. It was a 4-year investment, and this had a 15% cash on cash return. And you can see that they also tenured. And then you got Mac Roberts Media. This again was an industrial logistics in America, and this was done with the DWG group. And even though Judd Dunning has incredible experience and his team has incredible experience, the company is less than 3 years old, so it's an emerging category. But this was a deal we did with an 8% cash on cash and a 17% IRR. So, myth number 9 is that, I can get access to the best deals on my own. And again, there's 2 things I want to say here which are really important. The first is that in 2009, 2010, we were going to buy a shopping center, myself and some very wealthy South Africans. We're looking to buy a shopping center in Brisbane in Australia. We flew to Australia. We walked the streets. It looked like a great deal. Investec Bank was owed like $25 million, and we were buying it for $15 million. The previous buyer had bought the building for $30 million, so it sounded like a really good investment. Anyway, I can't even remember why we didn't buy it, but we didn't. And about a year later, I met this very, very wealthy and successful Australian property investor. And I was telling him about that deal outside Brisbane. And he said to me, Scott, he had seen that deal a year before we had seen the deal. And it made me realize, and I'm sorry to say this, ladies, but it's the truth, particularly in Australia, that there's an old boys club in Australia. And the good deals go around the old boys club first. And if no one buys it out of the old boys club, then it goes on the open market in Australia. And if no one buys it in Australia, then it goes overseas to us overseas idiots. South Africa, Dubai, China, Hong Kong, etc. And so that was the first time I really learned that if you try and do deals internationally, you're basically buying the crap that no locals want to buy. That's the first thing. The second thing is that if you're not on the ground and don't have all the relationships, you're never going to pick up the deals because you're not part of that club. You also don't have access to the financing, etc. And so myth number 9 is that you could come to me and say, Scott, I got $100 million. And I go, cool. And you could say, I'm going to go and get the best deals. And I'll be like, no, you won't. I know you won't. If you think you're going to go and do it all on your own, you are grossly, grossly mistaken. And actually in the challenge, I introduce people to Selwyn, who is head of private equity for our family office, Callio Capital. And he, with all of their buying power and all of their infrastructure and all of their experience, also says the only way to do it is through partnership, because there's no ways that you can be on the ground in all the different markets and get access to good deals all on your own. So myth number 9 is don't kid yourself that you can do it all on your own. Also want to talk about 3 stories that didn't work. So I did talk about this quite a lot in the challenge, but it's very, very important that you understand this mentality. So I would say to people that if I was to turn up and say to you that, I'd never lost money or been involved in a deal where other investors lost money in the last 28 years, I'd either be lying, cheating, or stealing. Because there's no ways in 28 years that you're going to get it right 100% of the time. It's literally impossible. But one of the biggest learning lessons I had was this philosophy here. So when I started in the whole partnership game, the people I partnered with were old and experienced, but their mindset was an old school mindset. It was all about control. And so when you do a property deal, generally 60% of the money comes from a bank, about 30% comes from private equity, and about 10% is equity. And in the old school mindset, you want to put in 95% of the money at this equity level so that you control the whole deal. Now, you've got concentration because you've got all your money in one deal. And you've got control, which is exactly what they want. But the problem is if you have a problem, you have to fix it yourself. So you've got to be an active investor. And my philosophy is, this whole philosophy here is summed up by a methodology and a thinking of scarcity. I must control it all, and I must have all the control. And, scarcity mindset. Like I must win and everyone else must lose. Donald Trump thinking, I must scarcity mindset. The world has changed though, and there's a new age way of doing it. And it's by diversification and partnership. So if you take the same philosophy, 60, 30, 10, only try and put in, say, 10% of the equity at this level. So what are you getting? You're getting diversification. You've got less control, but 90% of the money is coming from local investors, like local Australians or local Americans. Now, trust me, if something goes wrong and you're investing with local high net worths and local institutions, I guarantee you will fix it. Even the regulators will get involved because they don't like their own citizens losing money. And so you can be an armchair investor. And that allows you to come from a place of abundance. And I want to give you 3 examples of, we ended up splitting our company in half in 2018, 2019, because this philosophy doesn't work and continues to this day not to work. And this is the only way to do it. So I want to give you 3 examples of how that didn't work, where I learned the lesson. So the first one was this deal here in Australia. It was a 50-unit building in Brisbane. And, it was just a stock standard development. We bought the land, we were going to build it, we were going to do the pre-sales, and we were going to sell it, and we were all going to make a profit of 28%. And the problem is the Chinese government's changed the rules, which meant that foreigners couldn't take money out of the country. So all the pre-sales fell over. The Australian construction finance banks then pulled the money. So now we had a $5 million hole in the ground in Australia, four stories deep. And this was going to be the building. And the problem is that, if I come back to this philosophy here, we had 95% of the money in the deal. We control the entire thing, which to this day, there's 82 investors, all of us foreigners, that now own a bloody hole in the ground in Australia. No Australian cares about it. It's a terrible, terrible strategy, and it doesn't work. I'll give you another problem that I invested in, equally with the same group of people. And they went and did medical deals in America with the same partner. So one asset class, one country, one currency, and with the same partner. And they did 8 different deals with the same partner. And the same partner went and did fraud on the ground. So even though the buildings looked magical and they were collecting rent, the partner didn't pay the mortgages to the bank. And so the banks repossessed the property. And again, none of us as investors are getting any money. And the problem again is that it's this old school mindset. We put in all the money. Us foreign investors put in all the money. There are no Americans. There's no American regulators getting involved because they don't care. There's no Americans that were hurt. Now you compare that to a deal that we've just finished in Manhattan in Christmas last year. It was a $14 million deal with about $9 million in equity. We put in $500,000, 500,000 out of $9 million. $7 million came from high net worth and institutional investors in America. And $1.5 million came from our family office partner, Callio Capital. So we are like a tiny little suckerfish on a whale. And if shit goes wrong, I guarantee you that those Americans and those institutions are going to step in. Can you fundamentally see the difference between this abundance, new age thinking of diversification and partnership versus this old school methodology of control and why it doesn't work? And I've just shared with you, 2 deals where, I've lost a lot of money, and us investors are potentially going to lose a lot of money because of that old school way of thinking. And so I say to people, and I say it in the challenge, I say it all the time. If you want to be an old school investor where it's all about control, then this is not the right environment for you. And I would highly recommend that you switch off and stop watching, because the only way to win if you want to invest internationally is through collaboration, through partnership, abundance thinking, the new age way of doing it. It is literally the only way. And if you don't agree with me, then I would highly recommend that you stop wasting your time, because we are not the platform to help you. I am not the person to help you. And, I've just watched over and over again that old school way of thinking and control just keeps blowing up over and over again. And I personally want nothing to do with it. So I don't know if that makes sense. I'd love you to let me know if you've got any thoughts on it. Where would Mexico be? I'm not sure, Jane. Obviously, I've got the models, the templates, and the frameworks, but I would need to go and get the data for Mexico specifically. Jay said, what kind of returns should we be looking at under current market conditions, cash on cash? You're looking at about 7 to 8% on average. In some assets, you can get higher, you can get 10, 11, 12%, but on average, I would say about 8%. Some of them are 6, so I would say you're looking at an average of about 8. Come on, I want some feedback around partners and that mindset of new age versus, you know, the old school way of doing it. I also, you know, I'm happy to share my mistakes because I'd much rather you learn from my mistakes so that you don't have to repeat them. Okay, let's go to managing risk and compliance. Pretty good time, considering we're talking about looking after people's money. So compliance and risk management and deal risk categories. So how do we kind of comply? We FCA approved FSP. We're a juristic rep in England. It's a defined financial product. You got phase protection. You got European cash custody. So we work with 11way, which is the biggest digital wallet provider in Europe. They got 8 million wallets. You got multi-layered compliance. You got transactional wallets, and you got data protection and investor database ring fencing. So multiple different layers of regulation, compliance, and risk management to look after your money. How do we safeguard your money? Well, firstly, you got external cash custody. That means we never touch your money. So we work with a European partner where they've got European licenses and they work with the top 5 European banks to look after your money. External cash custody. Secondly, you got discretionary portfolio governance. So there's an external portfolio manager called Michael Carrick that actually looks after the deals. So you don't have the operational team doing that. You've got designated investor accounts. So each investor has their own account that they're in complete control of. Each deal is ring fenced. So again, in a fund or a REIT, you can rob Peter to pay Paul. But in ours, each one of them is ring fenced. So no deal can take down another deal. You got designated corporate managers. You got external custody of investments. And you got operational and investment segregation. So multiple different layers to be able to protect your money. And if you are interested, maybe Shane, if you can make a note, I did make a video on the 5 ways that we have set up to protect your money. Because as any investor, that should be your number one concern. How is my money protected? How do we select and designate our deals? Can you go back one slide? Sonia. I don't know which one you're talking about, but hopefully I've gone back for you. How do we designate and select our deals? So this is, again, not our ranking. This is the way it's done around the world. So again, you've got return on the left-hand side, you've got low return, high return, and you've got risk at the bottom, low risk, high risk. And there's 4 different categories. You've got core plus, you've got value add, you've got opportunistic. So core would be like a building in central London or central Manhattan with a government tenant and a 20-year lease. It's very, very low risk. It's where the institutional investors love to play. You know, you're going to get low returns with low risk. A core plus might be in a more up-and-coming city, Atlanta, Phoenix, something like that. It'll still be a very good building with a very good lease. We've got a building on our platform right now with a 20-year lease where the tenant is doing $500 million in revenue, so very, very strong tenant. And that's known as a core plus. A value add is where there's some level of execution risk. So a good example of this is in that Feldman company I spoke of. They had a building, another building we invested in, where they took a 2-year bank finance and they were going to lease up the building, which basically means that they bought the building at about 80% occupation, and they were going to lease it up. And obviously that increases the value. And then they were going to remortgage it. And that was the whole part of the business plan. And they're well ahead of their targets, but they never expected interest rates to go up so much. And so there's always execution risk in value add, but you can earn higher returns. In multifamily, sometimes they buy the building and they want to increase the rent. So they renovate the apartments over time. They increase the rent. So again, it's a value add. And then opportunistic tends to be a new development. And there's a lot of execution risk. You can get high returns, but also a lot of things can go wrong, like that opportunity in Australia. With all the due diligence in the world, you couldn't have seen the Chinese government changing the rules. And so again, it just gives you a good guidance around risk that you're looking at. So what an investor needs? Well, firstly, we want to address the investor emotions. Secondly, you want safety of your funds. Thirdly, you want diversification. Fourthly, you want alignment of interest. So this is really important. You want the sponsor, who's the partner on the ground, and the investor and us, the marketplace, to all be aligned. So the way we do that is we align through the fees. Everyone earns fees upon results. They don't just earn fees for doing nothing. You need a centralized access point. So again, I don't want to have bloody deals all over the place and have a huge amount of complexity in my life. I just want to be able to go back to one place and make it easy for myself. I want ease of transaction. I want access to information. I want regular reporting, and I want to de-risk, for investors. So these are the things we focus on for investors. And then finally, with tax and structuring, I always get, how's this impacted? Well, we spend a huge amount of money making sure that our SPVs are tax efficient and set up in a tax compliant way. However, if you want to go and set up your own structure, just be very careful with it. There are these little islands, Mauritius, the Seychelles, the Cayman Islands, Isle of Man, etc., where financial planners come along and they sell you a box. And the problem is that they then try and they only sell you stuff that can go in the box. And it really is important to kind of get a bespoke solution for you and your family. Again, we work with, people that are part of our mastermind, work with Calio Capital, and they get a bespoke solution for their family, like literally a personalized solution. Who are you? What is your family needs? Where do you want to live? Do you want to immigrate? And they take all that account and they actually help you set up a tax structure so that you can optimize all your current assets. And, I have so many people come to me and they're just like, wow, like they just have their minds blown because they've never experienced that. And maybe, Shane, it'd be worth just putting in a link to the video with Garth Wellman, where he just explains what a family office is and why it's different. And, it might be a consideration for people if they're at that level where they really want to take tax and structuring and stuff into account, then I highly recommend that you watch the Garth Wellman video. Okay, so I have a question to ask you, and I want to take you through something. So Craig, I highly recommend you watch the Garth Wellman video. Shane, if you can find it, it would be good. Otherwise, just remind me, and Craig, I'll send it to you. So I have a question for you. We've done 5 steps. We've still got 4 to go. But it's at this point that I find that a lot of people are very overwhelmed. They've a huge amount of information. They've absorbed a lot of information. And I've always been accused of is like drinking from a fire hose. Like, at the end of the day, I've got 28 years worth of knowledge. I love it. I spend all my life trying to learn and study the stuff. And I try and give it to you all in, it's been, less than 2 hours in terms of the overall. I don't even know what the time is. Just on 2 hours. And so it makes people feel overwhelmed. And so I've got a quick question for you. I asked you up front if, literally, what would it mean to you if in 12 months you could be learning a passive income without any hassle or complexity? And I also asked you, what would we like to have a system that could help you get there 70% safer, simpler, and faster? Could I share with you an irresistible offer to literally make this easy for yourself? So if you're feeling overwhelmed and you're feeling complexity and you're feeling, oh my word, I don't know what to do next, I want to be able to share with you a simple and safe way where you can literally go, okay, cool, I get it. I want that stuff. I'm clear on my whys, but I don't know how and what to do. And I literally just give it to you like, this is the way to do it. Can I have your permission? So I can see a couple of people saying to me, yes, share, please share, yes, share. Okay, cool. So let me remind you quickly. Our goal here is to live a life unlimited, and we do that through smart investing, through using technology. Now, we learned at school, we were given a formula at school for success, and that was that we needed to go out and we needed to get clarity. So we're going to learn stuff at school, and then we must go to university, we must get a degree. And, once we've got that clarity, we'll have confidence. And once we got that confidence, we'll have commitment. And maybe I don't know everything yet. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to go and learn some more stuff like I did for 14 years. Clearly, I don't know anything. I'll go do more courses. I'll read more books. I'll find more mentors, because then I'll have the confidence. And only once I've done all of that will I make a commitment. And then finally, I'm going to get to success. And I learned this from Roger Hamilton, that is wrong. And that the wealthy do it in a completely different way. And funny enough, he told the story of Andrew Carnegie. Now, this book here, Think and Grow Rich, is one of the best books you'll ever read when it comes to this wealth space. It was written in 1937, and it was actually written by Napoleon Hill, but it was Andrew Carnegie that paid for it to be written. And what's fascinating is Andrew Carnegie's story, because he basically teaches us that what we were taught in school is completely wrong. So let me tell you Andrew Carnegie's story. So he's a Scotsman, and he's in America. And he says, I want to build a steel mill. So he goes to JP Morgan. He says, hey, I want to build a steel mill. And JP Morgan goes, you're mad. Like, you're never going to be able to build a steel mill. Like, basically piss off. And so he goes away because, again, that's what we were taught to do in school. And then he decides, no, there's a different way of doing it. So he makes a commitment. He says, I will build a steel mill. It's a fact. I am building a steel mill. And he goes out to all the suppliers, and he literally says to them, I'm building a steel mill. And all the people that need steel, so people like the railways and the shipbuilders and all of them, he says, I'm building a steel mill. And I'm giving you the opportunity to buy a contract from me for steel for the next 3 years. And if you don't take it, I'm going down the road to your competitor, and they will be buying steel at, I don't know, a 50% discount of what you can buy steel from, because it's got to come all the way from England. And so after he made a commitment, he then got the confidence, and he gave others confidence that he was going to build the steel mill. And so he signed up all of these orders from his potential clients for steel. Confidence. He then went back to JP Morgan, and he gave JP Morgan the clarity, and he said, here's my steel mill. This is how much it's going to cost. And here are all my clients that are going to be my income over the next 3 years. He had the clarity. JP Morgan ended up giving him the money, and Andrew Carnegie became the richest man in the world. And to this day, in today's money terms, is right up there, if not still, the richest man in the world. So what did he do that's different and that you can learn from the wealthy? He made a commitment. Then he got confidence. Then he got clarity. And then he got success. And so my question to you is, who here is prepared to make a commitment for themselves? Just type it in the chat box, commitment or commit. Because at the end of the day, you're never going to have the confidence, and you're never going to have all the clarity. But if you're prepared to make a commitment, I mean, you're here, you've been here for 2 hours already. It's a commitment in itself. This is not a commitment to me. It's not a commitment to others. It's not even a commitment to your family, your friends, your husband, your wife, your children. This is a commitment to yourself. And if you can learn one thing from the wealthy, and specifically from Andrew Carnegie, is that it all starts with commitment. Now, to give you an example of a commitment, and I'm not saying it's the only commitment, but people sit and they say to me, and I've done it for years. Remember, I've been doing this for 28 years. And they say, oh, yeah, but it all sounds too good to be true. I don't know what to do next. And so we literally created the Wealth Starter Pack to make it easy for people. It's literally binding. You don't know what to do? Do the Starter Pack. Because what do you get in the Starter Pack? Well, you get access to the foundational modules of Wealth Going Global, our digital course. Basically, what are the top 5 whys and what are the top 5 countries to invest in? You get a VIP ticket to the next challenge. So you literally come and work with me for 5 days, and you get very clear on diversification, on your why, your how, your what, your when, and your who. You get a $100 voucher from us. We give you $100, a real $100. We give it back to you to put into your digital wallet so that you can actually start investing. And we give you investor priority onboarding. So our logic is, we give you the knowledge, we give you the ability to work with me, we give you $100 to actually invest, and we give you one of our team members to skip the queue and to get you onboarded quickly. And you know, why be part of the VIP? Again, you work with me personally, plus you get access to all the replays, and you've got lifetime access. So let's just look at it in a bit of detail. What are the foundational models? Well, I've shown you Wealth Going Global already. You literally go through the different modules and you get access to the foundational models, the power of clarity, your top 5 whys, and your countries, your top 5 currencies. You know, then we give you a commitment bonus. We literally give you back $100. You've committed, we commit back to you because we want to help you get results. And so what does it all mean for you? Well, if you take that formula of commitment, you got the Wealth Starter Pack. You made a commitment to yourself. Maybe it's Starter Pack, maybe it's something else for you. But the bottom line is you made a commitment to yourself. You want to get the confidence? Cool. We provide you with a full support system. You want to get clarity? Cool. We got the whole Wealth Hackers and the Wealth University and everything to provide you with the resources to help you get the clarity. And ultimately, we want to help people get success. So it's not our formula. It's the formula that I learned from Roger Hamilton of The Wealthy. It's the formula I learned from Andrew Carnegie. And all we've done is try and make it simple and easy for you. What is the Wealth Hacker community? Well, it's a group of like-minded people, you know, that'll enable a 70% plus chance of success. You know, it's Motivation Mondays. It's Wealth Insights. I bring them out every Friday. It's the Wealthy Wednesdays. I'm now doing them on a Friday, but lunch and learn. It's knowledge. So you've got a whole bunch of digital courses. It's real people, real stories where you can literally learn from others. It's the Wealth Hacks. You know, I haven't done one of these in a while, but, you know, Richard Branson, Ray Dalio, Kathy Wood, I've done them all, Warren Buffett, so that you can go and take all of their knowledge and I synthesize it for you in 90 minutes. And then it's other experts we bring in, like James Painter, who come and teach us about the different currencies, etc., in terms of the process. So there you got the starter pack. It's the foundational models, the VIP experience, the $100 commitment, and the investor priority service. The total value is $1,500. So if you just took all the different things on their own, it would be $1,500. And just to give you an example of some people, you know, Manu started investing on his own, and he actually lost $250,000. Sometimes people say to me, yeah, but I can't afford that. Well, I often say, well, you can't afford not to do it. You know, I guarantee you Manu, you know, would have paid $1,500 if he could save himself $250,000. And he ended up coming to our platform and investing and ultimately became a shareholder. You know, Hilda Lunderstead, she started investing with us in 2013, 2014 in commercial property in America. I actually got a trip to Necker Island with Richard Branson. This was her and I there together. And she moved to America in 2019, 2020. And it was her commercial properties that really helped her jumpstart and be able to live in America comfortably. Michael Honeysett, you know, he came on a buyer's trip with us in 2013. I'll never forget, he was very clear. He wanted to earn enough passive income so that his 2 daughters, who were both teenagers, had the ability to live and work wherever they wanted and to be able to study. And he literally said to me, Scott, when I joined, it was the best money I ever spent. He was very nervous, you know, just like you, just like most people. It sounds too good to be true. I don't know what to do. He came on a buyer's trip. In those days, that's what you had to do to invest and fly over to America or England or Australia with me. But he followed that up 10 years later and he said, it would never have happened if I tried to do it myself. And I'm super grateful that 10 years later, him and his family are living in England and they've, you know, his daughters have that freedom that he spoke of where they can live and work wherever they want. And it's not all the big boys and the big girls. You know, Mohammed said, thanks for having the $10 entry. Makes me feel like a property tycoon. Move over Gary Cardone and Trump. You know, he's talking about Grant Cardone. Jody Gordon Forbes came on an event just like you in July of 2022. She bought the starter pack. She was then on holiday in Tel Aviv a few days later and literally got started. And she said it made it so simple and safe. It is truly miraculous. Frick Null started investing and he literally, you know, invested in 7 days. And I literally said to him, what's it like to be 7 days to be an international investor? And he said, mind blowing. You know, Trevor Pollard has been investing with us since 2020, I think, 2021. And he's now invested kind of he wants to do kind of 2 to 5 per year to get, you know, similar to Ray Dalio in terms of that process. And here's a guy that I was actually at an event. This wasn't planned. He literally came up and said hello to me. And I said to him, well, can I make a quick video of your experience? I'd really appreciate it.
Hi, Rolf. We're here together. We at LeaderX.
And you literally came up to and said, been using the platform for the last year. Tell us about your experience.
Well, I first was skeptical about the platform and then I gave it a go. I've been investing in the platform for a year about. Very easy to use. Yeah, brilliant deals to invest in internationally. Yeah, so very happy with the platform itself.
And are you getting your returns?
Yes, I am.
So talk to us about that. So, it's all good and well to go and invest in something, but where do you get your money back? How does it work?
Well, I get paid back into my wallet. I can reinvest that again.
It's awesome. I talk about like chicken that lays an egg and then, creates another chicken that lays another egg. So, awesome, Rafael. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And thanks. One last question for people. For those that are skeptical like you from a year ago, what did you say to them?
Well, just do it. But nothing to lose. Do your due diligence. But yeah, take the step.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much, mate. And, sometimes people say to me, well, what about children? This is my goddaughter who's 12 years old, and I gave her a starter pack to get her started. So, it might be an employee of yours, it might be a child of yours, but it's really all about getting started. If you want to go and see what other people have to say, literally go to Trustpilot. There's plenty reviews from people in terms of the process, and 4,000 other people have been through it. So, reminding you, the starter pack is the foundational models, the VIP experience, the $100 commitment, and the priority service. It is worth $1,500, but we're not here, our whole philosophy is to empower everyone. Remember Zig Ziglar, you can have anything you want if you help enough other people get what they want. And so we literally do the starter pack and we try and make it as affordable as possible. And if you go to wealthstarterpack.com, you'll literally see that it's $197. Now, to put that in perspective, you're getting $100 bonus back, like literally. Okay, so it's actually only costing you that's a real $100. So it's actually only costing you $97. So everything that I've shown you, you're literally getting for $97. I'll chuck in a couple of bonuses. You're going to get access to our tax and currency partners. You'll get access to our investor test. You'll get access to another course I did on the 8 steps to wealth through real estate. I've said to you already, you'll get the power of clarity. You'll get our diversification masterclass, which is so critical when you consider everything else that's happening around the world and how crazy things are. You'll get creating lasting change, which is the science and psychology of results and how to get success. And most importantly, in my opinion, you'll get the whole philosophy of working within a community, because if a bird flying in a flock, it can fly 70% further than the bird flying on its own. Please, if nothing else from tonight, learn about me, where I was doing it all on my own for 14 years. It was a nightmare until I realized how to partner and collaborate, and things changed. And if you think it sounds too good to be true, well, fine. We'll give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. We've done thousands and thousands and thousands of these, and we've never had anyone ask for their money back. So I might be wrong. I can't remember showing of anyone myself, but $197 isn't going to change our life, but we know for a fact it can change other people's lives, and that's why we do it. We do it on purpose to make it simple for people to binarily be able to say, okay, cool, this makes sense. I like what I'm seeing. I want to get started. Well, we created a starter pack. Who's it for? Well, it's for people who are into personal development. So it's people who kind of want to learn and grow and ultimately go to the next level. It's people who want to build passive income. So it's about building globally diversified passive income. It's people who believe in the power of community and want to ultimately work together and can see that by working with others and partnering, they can go 70% further. But ultimately, it's people who want to get the fastest, safest, and simplest way with the least hassle and complexity. I mean, that's me. My philosophy is that I always want to kind of figure out the fastest, safest, and simplest way there. And that's what we try to create. Who's it not for? It's not for people who don't commit. Those people are probably not here anymore anyway. It's not for complainers and blamers. Those type of people always try and blame someone else, me, the government, their boss, their dad, their mom, where they were born. They've always got excuses why they don't get results. It's not for time wasters, and it's not for difficult personalities. Why we believe you should work with us? Well, these are all the reasons that people, say that they don't do stuff. But I remind you, it's because they say they don't have the time, they don't have the money, and they don't have the knowledge. Well, we've literally designed this, if you're time poor, to make it as efficient as possible. The money, well, we've literally made it a way for you in the most cost-effective way to be able to get started. And knowledge, well, we're giving you access to all of the best partners so that you can literally learn and do it with them in terms of this process. Okay, and the last reason why we think you should invest with us is that it's all about global diversification. To my knowledge, we're the only one that help people globally diversify. I just want to kind of give you a bit of a context of what I've invested in myself over the last 28 years. I spent $14,000 a year to be part of Singularity University. I spent $25,000 to be part of Roger Hamilton's Entrepreneur Circle. I spent $40,000 to be part of Mavericks. That actually got me to go to Necker Island with Richard Branson. And I spent $50,000 to be part of Tony Robbins' Business Mastery. So that was me in Fiji with Tony Robbins. So I'm just giving an example of what I've invested in myself. And that's why, for me, $197 is literally trying to just make it, you know, a no-brainer for you. And again, we take all the risk off the table as well. If you're not sure, then go to wealthstarterpack.com and literally see what everyone else has to say, you know, in terms of, you know, all the different comments, including both written and videos. You can go read all about it. And someone said, for how long is this deal for the Wealth Starter Pack? I'm not sure, Denise. I know that Shane runs a sequence where we offer it and make it available for people. I would, you know, not leave it for forever. I don't know, Shane, exactly what your plan is here. And the only reason we do it like that is because we found that when someone makes a commitment to themselves, if they take action, then they get on with it. Whereas if it's open-ended, they tend not to, basically. Anita, I've signed up to the Wealth Going Global after diversification 5.0 yesterday, and it was $297 with less bonuses. What's that about? So Anita, Wealth Going Global is the much more sophisticated course. So it's the entire course. You've got a huge amount of substance there. So you've made the right choice. Don't you worry. And you got that huge discount. So that's going to really help you. And Craig, yes, it does include the Wealth Hackers, the starter pack. So, okay. So yeah, if you're interested, let's just go to wealthstarterpack.com. By the way, we do offer within the Wealth Starter Pack to meet with one of our team members, one of our consultants. And so we obviously, from a time constraint perspective, can only do that for a certain number of people. So we always do that for our first 20 people. So I'm just letting you know that's the way we do it. I'm not into rushing people and all that type of stuff. But for the first 20, they get a one-to-one consultation with one of the team members as well. Okay, let's keep going. So we're into step 6, and this is all about setting up your investment platform. So, someone asked, how do we invest internationally in property? I want to share with you the Wealth Migrate platform. It's not the only platform, but I want to share with you the Wealth Migrate platform. And ultimately, what we've done is you can create your profile in a couple of minutes. You're going to get access to quality global partners and premium investment opportunities. You can invest offshore from as little as $10. No hassles, no management, no complex tax and structuring, separate bank accounts, etc. You don't need any of that. All that you've got is easy to be able to create true global wealth. So we've tried to make it as simple and safe as possible for you to be able to focus on investing in terms of the overall process. So if you look at it, there's 4 simple steps. You sign up, you complete your profile, you fund your wallet, and you invest. So let's look at how that works. So if I go to sign up, you literally go in, you fill in your details like you would on any other website, you agree to the terms and conditions, and you literally sign up. You then have to verify your email, just check your spam if you don't see it. And then you go in and you select your country of residence and your investor category. So you'll see there that there's different types of investors. We regulate it out of England, which means it's a self-certified situation. So you have to self-certify the type of investor you are, and depending on the type of investor you are, you'll get the different types of deals showing up. So again, it's a very simple and easy process for you. Then you have to verify your account and complete your profile. So again, look out for the email, verify your account, and now you complete your profile. All online, all digital. You go through, you put in your country of residence, you upload all the document, try and read the information on how to do it. It is it's the only hard part is doing what's called KYC or KYB. And when you do anything in life, you know, it's an international thing. It's the law where you've got to do KYC, which is know your client. And so, but you only have to do it once. That's the beautiful thing. So it's not that easy the first time, but you do it and it's done and you never have to do it again. So well done, Ora Bile, who signed up, verified, and yet to complete profile. So so cool. You've signed up. Now we need to get you to complete your profile. So you go in, you upload your KYC documents, and you submit. Again, read all the document guidelines and everything else to make it easy, but it's all done digitally and online. And then you send your funds to the wallet. And this is so cool because you're in complete control of your money. So you can literally go in and you can see the investor reference there. It's very important to copy that. And you literally go in and you get the bank details and you send your money to it, basically. And Visha, I see you, we signed up just waiting for approval. I know that Lemonway, who's our digital wallet provider, had a problem with their system for the last 2 days. So our team internally was talking about it. So we're just trying to chase them because that created a bit of a backlog for them in terms of that process. But you're in complete control of your money. You can send money to your wallet. You can take money out of your wallet. This is, you know, it's so awesome. It's your own bank account overseas without having to fly overseas and have all the hassle and headache of trying to set up an offshore account. But you're in complete control of your money. Yes, and that's where the $100 of the starter pack is paid back into your wallet, 100%. So you're 100% right, or a Bila. Just some bonuses that we'll give for people that sign up to the platform. We'll give you an investor strategy guide. We'll give you access to our e-wealth pack, and we'll also give you access to the Wealth University for free. So they're all just little benefits by literally signing up that we will give you. Okay, can you believe it? We have literally finished the setup, which is the what category. Now we go into the fun, which is the investing side, and it's the how category. So you now go to browse the marketplace, and my philosophy here is let's not watch some PowerPoint. Let's go and do this in real life. So let's go into Wealth Migrate, and whoever asked, how do I invest offshore? I'm literally showing you live now. There's no PowerPoint happening here. This is me live logging in. So I'm showing you my own account. And what's interesting here is you can go in, you can see my different profiles. So you can set this up in your own name. You can set it up in an offshore company or offshore trust. So you can see it all there set up. I can go into manage my profile. So everything's here around my country of residence and everything. And you can see that I'm approved. I can go to my wallet. So again, I can literally go into my digital wallet. I can do this in my profile, or I can do it in my company profile. I can deposit money. It's very important to use that reference number, by the way, there. And obviously all the bank details are here. You can see that it's Barclays Bank and it's in Germany where I deposit all the money. So that's if I deposit money in my wallet, or I can withdraw money. So I can take money out of my wallet. I don't keep a lot of money in my wallet because I keep reinvesting it in deals. But yeah, if I want to take it out, then it'll be paid out to my international account. Again, I'm in complete control of my money. If I want to go to my wallet, I can see all my different investments. I can see all my different returns, all my passive income that's been coming in for my deals over the last couple of years. It's pretty cool to see how much income I've been earning. And I can go and pull a statement in terms of the overall process. But now it's time. Oh, and if I want to go to my portfolio, I can go in, I can see my pending investments. And I can also go in and I can see, sorry, what do I do there? I can go and see all my different investments. I can see what I purchased them for, the value, the distributions, the target, cash on cash, the project X, it's all there for me. Now, I want to basically become an investor. So I go to the marketplace. You can see here that this is open deals. If I go to funded, I can go look at all the different deals. So like this is the one we did in Manhattan, New York at Christmas time last year. And you can literally go through, you can see all the different types of deals that we've done through the years on the platform. Okay, but I want to go in, I want to actually look at a deal. So here is a deal, an industrial deal in America. And again, let's take some of the training that we've done. So you can see the minimum investment here is $10. You can see this deal has a 5-year investment. It's got a 14.6% IRR and an 8% cash on cash. It's an emerging sponsor. It's an industrial deal, and the risk is Core Plus. So you can see there that it's Core Plus. I can go here. I can, watch the video. There's different videos here. I can go look at all the different pictures. So for those visually people, you can see everything here. So you can watch the webinar. You can meet the partner. Everything's there. You can read the overview. I like this because I can go play around with the calculator. I can say, well, I'm going to invest $10,000. And, what does that mean? What results am I going to get? So you can actually see the income here in green. You can see the fees, so complete transparency. And you can see the net in my pocket. So you can see when I'm earning my money, and you can see the total return. So if I invest $10,000 over 5 years, I'm going to be getting $19,000 back over 5 years. And I can do it with fees or without fees. So complete transparency around what we earn, how we earn it as a platform. We believe completely our 3 core values are trust, transparency, and alignment. So it's about making it easy. If you want to go download the documentation, you can literally go in here and you can download any of the documentation in terms of the process. If you want to go and download the total pack, it's here. So again, some people like this, they can print it out and read it. You've got the entire pack in terms of that process. If you're old school, I like to print stuff as well. You can literally go download deal summary and it will print everything on this page for you, which is also pretty cool. So, some people like to just print it all out and read it if they want it. But anyway, you can literally do that. So we've tried to cater for everyone's needs. You can literally, it's all here. You can go read it all, print it out for you. You can go down here. You can read all about the risks. So we don't hide the risks. We try and tell people exactly what we think the risks are. You can see the milestones. You can see the investment summary, the market summary, the deal distribution, who the sponsor is, who's doing the due diligence, and what's the deal structure overview. So we like to say that, all the information's there so that you can make proper information. Someone's saying, what website is this? This is Wealth Migrate. So, and yes, Craig, there's currently 2 deals. So now let's say, right, I've decided this is a deal I like. So I go, I want to invest in this deal and I want to invest $10. And I literally go continue. I digitally tick the contract. I go agree and I go make investment. And can you believe it that in under 30 seconds, you've just witnessed me invest in America? Now, let's go to Germany. So this is a mixed use deal in Germany. It's a 5-year deal. It's a 6.29% cash on cash in euros. It's a 15.8% IRR, again in Europe in euros. It's in Germany, which is the industrial hub of Europe. It's an established sponsor. It's a mixed use deal. Again, you can go watch all the videos. You can read all about it. It's a Core Plus deal. You can go to the returns calculator and see how it all works. You can download the documentation, all the same stuff. Now I decide, yep, I like to be a global investor. I like to diversify. I'm going to invest $10 in the German deal. And I literally go, I click the documents. I can download the documents here. I go agree and I go make investment. And there it is. You've just seen me invest in America in 30 seconds and now in Germany in 30 seconds. Now what's interesting, I go here and I go, oh, look, I made a mistake. I've actually invested in Germany 3 times. No, I don't want to do that. Let me cancel that investment. And I don't want that one either. Let me remove that investment. So I'm in complete control of my investments. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to stop sharing quickly, because if I go to my portfolio, there you can see my portfolio. You can see my fund investments. It's waiting for these deals to close. So let me answer some of the questions quickly. Craig saying, so currently there are 2 open deals. Yes, one in America, one in Germany. There's another one coming in Austin There's another one coming from our partners in New York. There's another one coming from London. So yeah, lots of new deals on their way. Craig saying, Yaha, awesome. You know what's interesting to me? I normally scream and shout and like get super excited and whatever, because I've been doing this 28 years. And what people don't understand is that 10 years ago, you had to fly. Michael Anisette and Hilda Lunderstedt and them, they had to get on an airplane with me. They had to fly to America. We had to set up an LLC, which is a company in America. We had to set up a bank account. We then had to go and find a house. We then bought the house. Then we had to find a management agent. Then we had to manage the house. Then we had to pay for our tax and structuring every year. It's a flippin' admin nightmare. Okay, and I've literally just shown you how you can stop investing with the mom and pops. You can invest with the institutions. You can diversify around the world with different assets, different countries, different currencies, different partners, and across a different time spectrum. And you can do all of it in 30 to 60 seconds once you set up. And it blows my mind, considering how safe and simple it is compared to where it used to be 10 years ago. And if I was in a live room, I would expect everyone to get off their chair and scream and shout and like literally get so excited, because it has completely and fundamentally shifted the way that we look and need to look at investing. Now, apparently when I scream and shout on Zoom, it mutes me. I didn't even know that. Shane told me that. So I don't scream and shout anymore. So anyway, yeah, it is super, super exciting in terms of it. Denise, Shane's put up the thing there for Wealth Migrate. You can literally go click on it. Milani said, do you get your paid dividends on these investments? So yes, that industrial deal in America pays out monthly. So if you invest in it, literally you get paid out monthly on the deal in terms of that process. How often do new deals come on the platform? We look to try and bring 1 or 2 new deals every month. But this is not about having 20 deals. We're not a flea market. We don't want quality. We don't want quantity and a whole bunch of rubbish on there. We'd much rather have quality. It's about, building your globally diversified passive income so that you can do it over time in quality deals. What does cash on cash mean? Cash on cash in simple terms is the income that you put in your pocket. So if you invest $100 and it's an 8% cash on cash, it means you're going to get $8 in your pocket over a year. Can you cancel after approval? So you can cancel before the deal closes. But once the deal closes, then you're in the deal. Then you can't cancel. Leisha's saying that's so awesome. Exciting indeed. Thank you. I've added the video about cash on cash to the resources. Thank you, Shane. Yeah, I did a video on what's the difference between internal rate of return, cash on cash, and yield. It's very, very important that you understand those 3 concepts. So Shane's kindly added them to the resources. So again, I'm not gonna, for Naval, please go watch that video, IRR, cash and cash, yield. It's like literally learning but I don't know, and yes in English. Like they're like the most important things to the investor language. Is cash on cash part of the IRR? So yeah, Craig, in simple terms for everyone, cash on cash is the income, and the IRR takes into account the total return, which is the income plus the capital growth, and it takes it over time. So I have explained it in that video, but the IRR is your total return per year, and the cash on cash is your income return. And Sharita said, like the dividend on a stock. I'm not quite sure what that means, but yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, as I said to you, I get super, super excited when I do this because I don't think people truly understand how all the excuses have left the building now. Like people don't have excuses anymore. If they tell me they can't do it, well, I like to show them how. And, if you look at our results, we've got members now in 178 countries. I know it says 171, but it's actually grown quite a lot in the last couple of weeks and months. We've done over 1.3 billion. We've done over $100 million through the platform. We've paid out $35 million in exits or dividends, and we've won numerous different awards. And the question that everyone, is always too scared to ask, but I like to just deal with it, is how do we actually make money? And we decided to copy Airbnb. We used to use all the sophisticated stuff like hurdles and what's it called now? Hurdles and carries and all that sort of stuff. And we just realized that most people have no idea what that is. So if you've ever used Airbnb, they have a simple transaction fee. It's completely clear. It's completely transparent. And we decided to copy them. So we're exactly the same. Upfront, there's a 3% initiation fee. That literally goes towards costs. So it's the cost of the platform, the cost of setting up the SPV for the deal, and the investor acquisition and the marketing to be able to do it. So that's upfront. And then there's a profit share of 10%. So we only earn money after you've earned money. So the current financial model that most companies use is that they make money whether you make money or not. Okay, so if you take, like before Airbnb came along, the average management agent would charge you a fee to look after your house. Whereas Airbnb only make money when they rent your rooms out. They only charge you money when they make you money. We're exactly the same. We only make money when you make money. Our interests are aligned. We make money when you make money. Orabella, sorry, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. You can invest as an individual, plus you can invest as a company. I've got both, on my profile. So that's step 7. And I kind of got a little bit excited because I've already gone to step 8 and I've literally shown you how to invest. But I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of an example of the type of teams we deal with. So this is Callio Private Equity. Glenn is a CA. His partner Selwyn is a PhD CFA. CFA is even higher than a CA. And he's actually got a PhD from Cambridge University. And, both of these gentlemen have been in the institutional space. They've been investing for over 20 years in property, in big funds around the world. And what's interesting is we just done a deal with them in Manhattan, New York. And this was the building in Manhattan, New York. This is, what it'll look like when it's finished. It's an old church that's being renovated into about 54 apartments. You can just kind of get a feel for the look and feel. So this is what it looks like currently and what it's being renovated to in terms of the process. And what was fascinating was that, as an investor, I invest in this deal. I got a 10% cash on cash return. I mean, this is New York, Manhattan, New York. It was a 12 to 18 month deal, and I had first mortgage security over the deal. So what that means is it's like a bank. My money's protected by the property. So, I mean, if you look at it in total, I mean, literally it's a 12 to 18 month deal. It's the financial strategy is designed to maximize returns while maintaining a prudent level of risk management situated right in the heart of Manhattan. So, I mean, if you take this here is the World Trade Center. The New York Stock Exchange is literally sitting down here, and our building is sitting right there. It's literally a stone's throw from the New York Stock Exchange, from the World Trade Center. Like, you literally don't get a better location. The deal in Germany, which is live on our platform, so you can go read all about it. It's a mixed use deal. You're dealing with a partner that has extensive experience in the space. You can watch it all on the video. But you're now investing in euros in a European deal in the industrial powerhouse of Germany. You're getting a 6% cash on cash return, a 14% IRR, and it's a 5-year investment. This deal is live on our platform right now. It's an industrial deal in America. It's got a 20-year lease in place from the tenant is earning $500 million in revenue. So very, very strong tenant. You're buying below market value. You're buying below replacement cost, which are 2 very important things that you should look for in terms of fundamentals of investing. You're looking to double your money over the 5-year investment, which, so again, I don't want to go into every deal, but you can go and look at it. And the one I like most about this deal is literally it pays monthly. So you invest in this and, in a month, we already own this building, by the way. It's just a tranche that we've got for people to participate in. And you'll literally earn an income next month in terms of the process. So it's an 8% cash on cash. It's a 14.6% IRR, and it's a 3 to 5 year investment. And then launching soon, there's a deal coming up in Austin. This is a debt deal. It's a 9% income in Austin, America. It's a 3-year investment. And it just gives you an example of different deals. I told you, we've got another one coming in Manhattan. We've got another London opportunity coming up. We've got another German deal coming up. So there's a lot of deals that are coming. Anita said, what does 3 to 5 years mean? The investment will be between 3 to 5 years. I would invest with a mindset of 5 years. You know, when do you get the benefit of IRR? So remember that IRR takes into account capital growth. So that's on the back end once you sell the building. So that's step 8, all about investing. And I've just shown you a whole bunch of deals that you can invest in and what's coming down the pipeline. Step 9 is all about earning. And this is something I learned from Dr. Hannes Dreyer 20 years ago. And it's about celebrating, having fun, and enjoying life. You know, there's no point in just waiting for retirement. So if you've got a surplus of $1,000 and you've got your expenses, you've got your assets, and you've got your passive income, you know, you've got your expenses being your interest, you've got your capital where you want to invest in your assets, and then you've got your fund. So maybe you allocate $500 towards investing in assets, you know, $250 towards fund, and $250 towards your interest and your expenses. Over time, you're going to build up your passive, you know, your assets, and that's going to pay your passive income. And ideally, you want to get to the point where your passive income is paying your expenses and you're literally free. And this is just something, it's a simple little thing I learned from Hannes Dreyer. He called it the Mercedes principle, but it's just about keeping it easy, where you don't have to wait till you're 65. You can live life, you know, for every day and enjoy it, but ultimately get to your objective. And then something I wanted to share with you, I said I had a little gift for you, but it's called the 100-year life. And what's quite scary for all of us is that we were told in the old days, you know, in the old economy, that we must go to school, go to university and get educated. And then we must work, and we must work and save for retirement. And then we must retire. And the average lifespan was 75 years. And what's fascinating now is people are living longer. I mean, I met a gentleman, he's very close to my family, so this is not a hearsay comment. He's about 81, 82. He's in good health. He's an optometrist, so he was a doctor of the eyes. And he did everything. He worked hard, he invested and everything else. And now he's 82 and he's healthy. And he's literally looking at me. He says, Scott, like I'm healthy, but my money's going to run out before I die. And he's literally feeling financially trapped. And I mean, that's one of the worst things that could ever happen. And because the world has changed, like, we need to change our habits. This old economy was the way we were told to do it. You know, study, work and invest, you know, for retirement and then retire. It's no longer like that. The new economy, you know, we need to be learning all the time, learning new skills. We need to be investing, growing and protecting our wealth and consistently readjusting. And, you know, we're going to live on average now for 90 years, and soon it'll be 100 years, and it's called the 100-year life. And we've literally got to change the way we invest so that we don't have this worry about our investments and outliving our money. Now, the way this changes is that if you give your money to a pension fund or to a financial planner, they literally are doing this so that you can retire, and the aim is that you die before you run out of money. But if you're investing in multiple assets that are paying you passive income, then technically you can live forever, and you create generational wealth that you can hand over to your family. Can you see the fundamental difference? Yes or no? Just tell me if it makes sense, yes or no. It's a fundamental mindset shift of moving away from the old way of doing it, which we were all taught to do, my father and me, and all my friends at the moment, versus the new way of doing it, which, by the way, the top 1% have been doing forever. They invest in good quality assets, they hand them over to their children, it's called generational wealth, and they keep doing it. So, Shane and I promised you 9 simple steps. If you've got any questions, let me know. I want to kind of start to wrap up and give you a conclusion. We started off and it feels like forever ago. And I said to you, right, we're going to go through the fundamentals, which is your why. Then we're going to go through your setup, which is your what. And then we're going to go to your investing, which is your how. What's really important on any new skill is, if you take investing as an example, 3 or 4 hours ago, you know, most people are here. Your colleagues aren't even here. Your friends, your family, your colleagues, it all sounds too good to, don't be rubbish. Just go see your financial planner. Well, that's most people. Hopefully in the last 3 hours, your skills have dramatically improved. But the problem is, tomorrow when you go back to work, they will fall off. It's like guaranteed. But the good news is you'll be in a better place tomorrow than you were today. And there's only one way to keep growing. Do you know what it is? Do you want to write in the chat box, anyone? Anyone that's part of the challenge? Let's see if you can remember. Come on. Testing your brain skills. Implement T1 model in practice. Practice. Yep. So they're nearly right with practice. It's repetition. It's repetition over and over again. And you'll keep dropping off, but you'll be at a high level. And can you imagine where you'll be a year from now if you've repeated these skills over and over again? Because repetition is the most important thing. You know, back to when Alex always says to me, I don't talk about this enough, but I would go and read all these books. I've read hundreds and hundreds of books. I don't know, it could easily be in the thousands. And I'm sure that none of you were like me, but I'd go and read a new book and I'd go on a new course and I'd never actually implement anything of what I read. Because the moment I'd finish that book, I was like, cool, let me go read another book. And I'd read that book and then I'd read another book. And I never actually implemented what I read. And it was only in 2010 when Tony Robbins taught me about mastery. And his partner, Chet Holmes, taught me about the skill set. And he said, most people are trying to do 4,000 different things. But actually, you only need to do 12 things 4,000 different times. Like karate, where you like learn 12 moves and then you just practice 4,000 different times. And it was then when that light bulb came on for me in 2010 that I started realizing I don't need to read 4,000 different books. I just need to implement what all the books are saying. And by the way, the fundamentals don't change. So just implement the fundamentals. So where would your life be if you're repeating this over and over again? You know, if we go back to this rich dad, poor dad, whether you're an employee, self-employed, a business owner, or an investor, if you're a beginner, an intermediate, or highly advanced, at the end of the day, our objective is to get everyone, you know, whether they're beginner, intermediate, advanced, is to get them to be that investor. You can be highly advanced, you can be highly sophisticated in one country with a whole bunch of assets, but you're not globally diversified, you're not a global citizen, you have not diversified across assets, countries, currencies, partners, and time. And so our logic is whether you're a ranked beginner, whether you're intermediate or you're advanced, we've built solutions to help people at each level. And ultimately, it's about becoming a global citizen, you know, where you have a globally diversified passive income. That's the objective. So the 10 myths to investing. Can anyone remember? We've gone through them today and I wanted to debunk them. The first one is you have to do it yourself. Again, I told you, 14 years, I tried to do it. I read all the courses, read all the books. I'm yet to meet someone, I know I'm being arrogant, but I'm yet to meet someone who's done more degrees with higher distinctions and more courses and things from all over the world. I've yet to meet someone, which basically just makes me the class clown. Because I thought that the more clarity I get, the more studying I do, the more confidence I get, and then finally I'll get results. And it was completely wrong. In 2010, I learned about partnering, and that's when the game changed for me completely. 2, seminar companies and expensive courses. You know, I could charge you thousands and thousands of dollars, even for tonight's presentation. We don't, because I want you to learn while doing. I make money when you invest in deals. That's what I want to do, because that's going to change your life. Our philosophy is that we want to work with people, and the action item is to get people to invest. So be very careful of bouncing to the next seminar company and the next expensive course. Just implement and get the results. There's one great investment versus ongoing commitment to consistency with diversification. You know, some people think, oh, I've told you already. It's Google or it's Uber or it's Bitcoin or whatever it is, versus just the commitment to ongoing consistency and diversification. Buying a single house or apartment. You know, I want to diversify. I'm going to go buy a house in London or Manchester or something. Such a load of rubbish. You've got all your assets tied up in one asset, one country, one currency, one partner. You might as well take all your eggs and put them in one basket. I don't have money. Well, again, you can get started on the World Migrate platform from $10. So my assumption is that anyone that can watch the internet for 2-3 hours has $10. I don't have time. Well, again, I don't agree with that because we've literally condensed time. We've taken decades into days, and I've shown you how you can do it in 30 seconds. So, I don't believe that's possible. And I don't have knowledge. Well, you might not have the knowledge, but by learning while doing, by getting access to world-class partners, you can accelerate that knowledge dramatically in terms of this process. I can do all the due diligence myself. Again, reminding you, it takes 10 years to become sophisticated in anything. So the chance of you going to America and suddenly becoming an expert in triple net leases, industrial logistics buildings in America, in specific states, is, going to take you 10 years. And then you want to go to Germany and you want to do mixed use buildings in Germany, in certain cities, in certain states, it's going to take you another 10 years. So again, it's a naive concept to say I'll do it all myself. I can get access to the best deals on my own. Again, even if you had $100 million, do you think you'd get access to that German deal, the Manhattan deal, the industrial deal, compared to partnering with institutional partners who are actually on the ground? And ultimately, the power of the crowd, like us all coming together, it allows us to invest like an institution. And then finally, people are taught, go and invest through the Seychelles or go invest through Mauritius or Caymans or Isle of Man in these little funny structures. It doesn't work. We've done it before. I've been doing this for 28 years. That's why we FCA regulate in England. Our digital wallets are through Europe. Comply with the best in the world. It's the only way to do it properly. So hopefully I've debunked your 10 myths. Yes, no? Give me a yes, give me a no. Am I right? Am I wrong? Are these the 10 myths that hold most people back? And hopefully tonight, today, whatever time zone you're in, I've shown you that most of them are a load of BS. And yeah, I just, from my own experience, they're holding people back for no reason. Okay, so imagine yourself 12 months from now. And imagine you were working on your belief. Remember, these were the 6 skills or 6 needs of every investor. Imagine if you were working on your belief, your knowledge, your access and your investment, your system, your support and your accountability, and your results. Where would your life be 52 weeks from now or 12 months from now? Do you think it would be materially different? Nelson Mandela said, money won't create success. The freedom to make it will. We started off this workshop with a story of me climbing Kilimanjaro and going on a journey. I want to end off talking about the journey as well.
I have walked a long walk to freedom. It has been a lonely road, and it is not over yet.
It's a long walk to freedom. We all talk to our friends, our family, and everyone, and that's, it's not possible. And we're all told to keep doing the same thing. I've shown you the results that don't work, and it's lonely. And that's why it's important to be part of communities like Wealth Hackers. It's important to get the knowledge. It's important to invest like the top 1%. It's important to learn from the institutions and partner and invest with them. It makes a fundamental difference. And it's a journey. I'm inviting you to come on the journey. And, the next steps, and if you're interested, I'm going to share with you just, a reminder of the next steps that you can do. Because some of you made a commitment to yourself and to others. Some of you publicly put it in the chat box. But for me personally, I don't care what you do. The fundamentals don't change. What I've taught you tonight won't change. Whether I'm doing it myself, whether you do it is your choice. And Naval, you said, is the digital wallet tax compliant and does it comply with foreign investment allowance? Yes. So that's all taken care of for you. So I asked you the question about drinking from a fire hose. I know that I share a lot of information. I know I go fast. I know it's overwhelming. And to be honest, we've been going for the best part of, what is the time now? 8 o'clock. We've been going for over 3 hours, basically. I remind you of this formula for success that we were taught in school. You'll get the clarity. Be like me. Go and get all the degrees and all the courses and the mentors and read all the books. And then I'll have the confidence. And then finally I'll make commitment. And then finally I'll have success. And how wrong that actually is. The story of Andrew Carnegie. And now he made a commitment. This is the formula of the wealthy. Then, he got confidence, and more importantly, gave everyone else confidence. And then he got clarity. And finally, it led to success. But it all started with the commitment. An example of the commitment is we've literally created the Wealth Starter Pack to create it as a no-brainer for you. You can, literally tonight, you can say, right, boom, I've done it. I've made a commitment. I'm in. We give you $100 back. So that literally once you set yourself up, set your profile up, and your $100 is sitting in your wallet, you can go and look at all these deals, and you can say, hey, I'm going to get started. I'm going to see what it all's like. How does it work? I remind you that, for the commitment, we've got the Wealth Starter Pack. For the confidence, we've got the full support system. For the clarity, we've got the Wealth Hacker community and the Wealth University. And ultimately, we want to get you success. We've taken risk off the table because it's, you've got a 30-day money back guarantee. It's in terms of the process. And I just want to share with you some other success stories. Don van Rensburg bought 4 houses from me in London in 2009. He got a 26% discount. He bought them each for £313,000 each. And 11 years later, he sold them for £1 million each. Plus, he had earned the cash flow all the way through that process. Ryan Botha bought 5 houses from me in Australia. We bought them in Brisbane and Melbourne, which were the 2 best markets in Australia. Australia was the best performing market in the G20, which are the top 20 economies in the world, in 2009, 2010. And actually what that allowed him to do was 5 years later, he immigrated to Australia. He sold off those properties, and it allowed him to live on the Gold Coast. Chad Pope started investing with us in Australia in 2011. He then moved to America in 2012 with us. He still lives in Johannesburg, South Africa. He's brought structured notes to our platform now, but ultimately he's a global citizen with a peace of mind and diversification. Gert de Pre he's a farmer. He started investing in 2012 in Atlanta in America. He bought houses, then he got into commercial property. And, he's been, a global citizen and diversification. Martin Freeman, that now actually runs his own property company. Funny enough, he knew nothing about property, but he actually came on a buyer's trip with us 10 years ago, bought a few houses, then got into medical buildings, and actually went and, started a medical building company. So yeah, but it all started from our buyer's trips and us teaching him. Alan Kynock, a highly sophisticated investor. He knew that it's much better that, to rather than try to do it on his own, to partner with others. He came on multiple buyer's trips. He sat on the investment committee with us, invested in multiple deals, and has now immigrated to America and is doing on his own. Dirk van der Westhuizen wanted to start investing so that his child could do motocross in America, and the passive income could allow that to take place, and that became a reality. Ricky Jack, don't tell me you're too young. He came on a buyer's trip with us when he was 22. 10 years later, he's very, very sophisticated in the multifamily space. Funny enough, I was talking to him today. He's closing a big deal in America himself in terms of investing now, and he's done over $1 billion in 10 years. It's phenomenal. But in the old days, you used to have to fly over and open bank accounts. And my business partner, Jacob Maritz, this was him opening his bank account and getting started, and he wanted his son to be able to go play golf in America. And by investing and getting set up in America, he enabled that dream to be a reality. So what are your dreams? Because literally thousands and thousands of people, over 4,000 people have been in this process, have sat in your seat in terms of the process. And you go read what they all have to say. If you're not sure what to do, well, we've made the starter pack a really, really easy and simple solution. It's $197. But to be honest, we give you back $100. So it's literally $97 to get started. In terms of the bonus, you get the $100 commitment bonus. You get access to the tax and currency partners. You get the investor test. You get the 8 steps to wealth through real estate. You get the Power of Clarity Masterclass. You get the Diversification Masterclass. And then we also just want to chuck in a couple of extra things because I love building these things, and Shane is too generous, quite frankly. But we'll give you the wealth code. So this is something that I learned years ago, and I don't know where my one is actually. If I've got a physical one here somewhere, I should have one somewhere. Oh, where's it gone now? Anyway, but when I started my business 20 years ago, my mate actually gave me a little credit card, and it's got an awesome poem on the back. And actually, hang on, I just want to get mine quickly. So here's my wealth code. And I'll stop sharing quickly so you can see me properly. So on the back, it's got a poem. You might have heard of this poem. The credit belongs to the person who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again, who knows the great devotions, the great enthusiasms, and spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best in the end knows high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly. Far better it is to dare mighty things, to win glorious triumphs, even though checkered by failure, than to rank with those poor spirits who neither enjoy much nor suffer much, because they live in the great twilight that knows neither victory nor defeat. And on the other side, you've got the wealth code, and it literally says, focus on income generating assets, don't lose money, asymmetric risk reward, tax efficiency, diversification across and within assets, markets, currencies, and time. The fundamentals of investing, real estate, and business don't change. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Gratitude is the key to happiness. Your mind creates your destiny and your life, nurture it. Chaos is your best friend. In chaos, there's opportunity. To risk nothing is to risk everything and be constantly learning. So we'll give you the wealth code. We'll also give you the Wealth Hacker Manifesto. So I love this. You can print it. You can put it as a screenshot. You can go read all about it as to what a wealth hacker is. And finally, we'll give you a copy of Think and Grow Rich, both the audio and the PDF. It's basically the best, well, the book argumentative that's created more US dollar millionaires than any other book ever written. I've listened to it at least 7 times. I've read it about 4 times. You can't read it enough. And yeah, the audio one's cool because you can listen to it while you're driving or you're running or doing whatever. So you get to decide, do you want to do it on your own or do you want to do it like a bird? Oh, hang on. I'm not showing my screen. I was wondering why I could see myself so big. So no, that's your wealth code that you'll get. And that's the Wealth Hacker Manifesto that you can print and you can put on your screensaver and whatever else. And that's Think and Grow Rich that you'll get in audio and PDF. And the choice you need to make is, do you want to do it all on your own? Do you want to continue to do it all on your own? Or do you want to join a community? According to nature and the laws of nature, a bird flying in a flock can fly 70% further than a bird flying on its own. Why, as investors, do we think we've got to do it all on our own? It makes no sense to me. If it sounds too good to be true, you've got the money, the 30-day money back guarantee. It's literally $197. And, if you've enjoyed tonight and if we've, given you a lot of value, my one request would be that you go to Trustpilot and you give us a review. I would really, really appreciate that. It's sort of, we give you this investor roadmap for free so we can teach you. The thing I would ask for is that if we've added value to you, if we've taught you, new things, then please go to Trustpilot and give us a review. It's, that's our value trade. And we do run a competition. If anyone gives us a testimonial, then you'll go in the draw for the next challenge, a VIP experience. So you literally just go to the link here. I'm sure Shane would have put it in the chat box as well. And it just makes it really easy for you in terms of that process. So yeah, look, our philosophy is, like Zig Ziglar said, if we can help, you can have anything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. Why we here, what we're passionate about as a team is to give people the belief, to empower them, to give them access to the knowledge, to give them access to deals, to allow them to invest so that they can get those results. And if we are sharing value to you, all we'd ask for in return is for you to give us a testimonial. Why? Because people trust other people, and it's real people like you and me that are going to change the world. Like, we fundamentally have to change the wrongs that currently exist on this planet with the financial industry, with the wealth gap. And it starts with each and every one of us individually. And so not only do I want to empower and support you, but I want you to help me help each other change the way things are happening around the world. Just to remind you, if you want more, so again, the investor roadmap was all around the how, but if you want to go into more detail and enjoy the challenge, in literally, it's 5 days, 2 hours a day. It's about understanding diversification, the why. It's about the types of investments, asset classes, and risk, for what. It's about building a diversified portfolio, asset allocation, 85% of your total return. It's going to come from your asset allocation, your how. It's about risk management, the who, and it's about putting it into practice, the when. And for those of you that want to, you've kind of got the do it all on your own, you've got it done with others, and then you kind of got the done for you. It's where you partner with me personally, you partner with our family office. We actually have the mastermind. There's 5 simple steps. We go on a 12-month journey together, and we get very clear on what is the outcome you're wanting to achieve. So I work with you one-to-one, and we get very, very clear on your outcome. Then we go to your starting point. I work with our family office partner, Calio, and they literally take into account all of your different assets. They look to optimize your assets. They look at your tax and your structuring, and they try to give you peace of mind. So we know where you want to get to. We know where you are. Step 3 is we create a plan to get from A to B. And then steps 4 and 5 is that most people don't have a plan, but those that do have a plan, it's then about the execution and the mindset. So, and the accountability. So it's every single month we run a combination of accountability, mindset, and execution, and then the investment cycle, which I'll talk a little bit about. So to start off with, we do literally a one-to-one session with myself. I'm an internationally certified coach. We get very, very clear on your outcomes. And, we had this German gentleman come who's been doing this for 27 years. And he literally said he loved the process, but I even preferred this little voice note I got in the last couple of weeks from a lady.
Hi, Scott. This is just a quick fan message. Just wanted to thank you again for our coaching call the other day. And then also wanted to thank you for the brilliant idea of that, sort of publicly putting in your goals in that Google Sheet. I see that the Google Sheet magically populated itself since the first time I saw it. And I must say the 2024 goals are very inspiring. And it's amazing to see. I found it incredibly supportive to see, people's just the amount of energy and the goals. And it's really inspiring. So just wanted to thank you for that. I really enjoyed reading everybody's goals. I haven't read all of them, but and somehow it's just really helpful. All right, well, have a fantastic day, and we'll see you in February. Bye.
For me, this is, someone else said to me, here, Scott, you're a true master at your craft, immensely valuable. I'm very excited about the 3 areas we identified, as well as the goals and the measurables. I consider myself highly blessed to be part of the mastermind group. Thank you for allowing me to be part of it. We do a property analysis. This was a gentleman in England. He had a bunch of properties that were underwater that were costing him money every month. And he bought them in 2006, 2007. I basically showed him how he could sell 3 properties. He was in negative equity on a couple of them. I showed him how he could take money out of some other properties. But in simple terms, he could change from £750 down per month to £2,000 up. And he could invest that in quality investments and make a much better return over the next 10 years. So it's amazing what the mirror can do. What does a family office do? Well, they used to be the domain of the ultra wealthy, and now through our mastermind, and, as an example, Gerhardus, you're asking about tax. That's exactly why we work with a family office, because they sit down, they help you understand tax bespokely for you and your family. So you get access to our family office partner, which is Calio. And as Garth Wellman, the CEO and co-founder, said, the 1% can pay for advice and get results. We need to support everyone else to get access to the same advice and results. And so we actually have an agreement with them that anyone that joins the mastermind, gets access to Calio for personalized solutions. And we had 2 people, both in the medical industry, medical doctors as well. And they said it's so much better now to have the peace of mind, to have everything under one roof. They used to have assets and financial planners and structures all over the place. There was so much complexity, and now they managed to get it all into one place. That's, then it's about bringing it all together. As Cynthia said, thank God for this mastermind, the partners it brings, and the exponential learning that it has gifted us. And as I said to you, I introduced you to Jordan, the type of people who resonate with the mastermind. Jordan, a high net worth, 55 years, worked very hard in his life, wants to build a portfolio to ensure his wealth is preserved. He wants to build a globally diversified passive income of $5,000, $10,000, or even $25,000 a month. Wants to diversify his investments between countries, currencies, assets, and partners. He wants to use his limited time, so he's time poor. Everyone that's part of the mastermind is time poor. So it's a short amount of time with maximum impact to get effective results with predictability. It saved decades of frustration and millions of dollars to get access to the right knowledge for him and his family. It's wealth protection, plan B, and peace of mind. It's be accountable with an accountability partner to get results. It's have a family office to help manage all your financial affairs. It's create generational wealth for the family. It's have a fully completed execution wealth plan and investor strategy sheet, and it's get results. And/or it's Victoria, an entrepreneur in her 50s, devoted to her family and business, aiming to build generational wealth. You know, she's got a packed schedule, but she wants a streamlined investment strategy that empowers her to make decisions, align with her goals, and frees up her time for her grandchildren and daughters. She wants to understand the investment landscape so that she feels empowered to make the right decisions for herself and her family. Victoria focuses on achieving financial freedom to cherish more moments with her loved ones. So if you look at our aspirational mastery ladder, you know, we got our starter pack. It is literally the way to get going. The next one up, we've got Wealth Going Global, which is our home study 6-module course. Then we got Asset Mastery. We haven't even spoken about that tonight, but I'm just telling you it's there. So if you want to get access, you know, get started, you got the starter pack. Then Wealth Going Global is all about the right information. Asset Mastery is all about access to the right partners. And then the mastermind is, you know, at the top of our value ladder, and it includes our family office. And Jay, I think you're in America, if I remember rightly from the challenge. You know, I would, the way to do the mastermind is that you and I, or you and Alex, would have a one-to-one to understand where you're at, to make sure that we can help you, and to make sure that your interests and what we offer is aligned. It's not for everybody. It's by invite only. But I do believe, I remember from the conversation on the challenge that you should certainly reach out and have that conversation. So, yeah, Shane, if you can just make a note that we must contact Jay and set up a one-to-one with him. Okay, but that's the aspirational value ladder. And sorry, I didn't do the nice little green thing that Shane's built, but our whole aim is to help you grow up the aspirational ladder in terms of that process. So in terms of taking action, you know, where are your investment goals you would like to achieve this year? You know, apply for an investor strategy discussion session. And literally, if you want to go to this link, the investor roadmap workshop, discover if you're not quite sure what to do next, then this can help you point in the right direction in terms of that process. I remind you of what, you know, Andrew Carnegie taught us all. The formula for success is commitment first. Hopefully, if nothing else tonight, you've made a commitment to yourself. With that, you'll get confidence, then you'll get clarity, and finally, you'll get the success that you're looking for. But it all starts with that commitment. I leave you with 2 closing thoughts. The one is that I was given this just a couple of weeks ago, and it said, no one changes unless they want to. Not if you beg them, not if you shame them, not if you use reason, emotion, or tough love. There's only one thing that makes someone want to change: their own realization that they need to do it. And there's only one time it'll happen: when they decide they are ready. I asked you a question to start off with. I said, what would it mean to you in 12 months or less to be earning a passive income without any hassle or complexity? And I said, how would you like a system which could statistically help you get there 70% faster, safer, and simpler? I hope that today, tonight, wherever you are in the world, we've given you a way, we've shown you a way as to how you can do that. I hope that we've given you the belief. I hope that we've shown you through the 9-step process of how you can achieve it. But just like that little quote or that little poem, whatever you call it, only you can decide when you're ready. You know, I often think of that thing from Albert Einstein, where the definition of insanity is to do the same thing and expect different results. If it hasn't worked for you for years or for decades, maybe it's time to consider doing something differently. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm just sharing with you the wisdom I've learned through the years, that to keep doing the same thing every year and to expect different results is insanity. You have to do something different. You know, whether it's the Wealth Starter Pack, which I've got on the board for you, or as Jay said, you know, he wanted to consider the mastermind. I know someone else earlier also Shane's kindly put in the mastermind link there, where you can connect with Alex and set up a one-to-one. They're both in there. Shane's put in the mastermind, he's put in the starter pack. Literally go and click on them. Make a decision. Make a commitment. If you don't want to do it with us, you don't like us, don't trust us, that's fine. But still make a decision. You wouldn't be 3.5 hours later if this wasn't important to you and your family. So I want to answer some questions quickly. And Shane's been taking some of the questions and putting them in the PowerPoint. So thanks very much, Shane. I signed up to Wealth Going Global. Is it necessary for the starter pack? They're two different things. Wealth Going Global is going to give you access to the right information. The starter pack is going to help you start investing on the platform. They're two different things. The one will help you start investing on the platform with priority service, and the other one will give you access to the right information. I have no time, I have no money, I don't have the knowledge. What do I do? Yeah, I tend to, I laugh a little bit because, if people have the mentality that they don't have the time, they don't have the money, and they don't have the knowledge, but they're not prepared to do something, the chances are they're never going to have the time, they're never going to have the money, and they're never going to have the knowledge. I hope that tonight I've shared with you a different paradigm, a different mindset, a different belief system, because I fundamentally believe you can change that. And everyone's got $10, in my opinion. And therefore, you do have the money. You can make the time if it's important enough for you. And I've shown you how to get the knowledge. How long will it take for the $100 to reflect in my wallet? That depends, because we use a system called Stripe. It takes about 7 days for it to reflect in Stripe. Then the money has to move over to our bank account, and then it has to be distributed into Lemonway. Assuming you've done your KYC on your side, I tend to say to people it's going to take sort of 2 to 3 weeks. I wish it was a credit card and it went straight into the wallet, but because we're dealing with international money laundering and all of those rules, it's got to be done properly. So it takes about 2 to 3 weeks. Why should I invest in a starter pack when I can go on the platform and get started for free? You can. You don't have to do the starter pack to go on the platform. You can literally go on the platform, register for free, and get started. Again, that's for people that want to do it on their own, no problem. But the starter pack's for people that kind of want to do it. They want to have someone hold their hand. They want priority service. They want to get going, and they also want to make a commitment to themselves. So it's two different types of people. What's the difference between the starter pack and the mastermind? That's chalk and cheese. That's like grade 1 and matric, or grade 1 and a degree. Like they're at different levels. The mastermind is me working personally with you, Alex working personally with you, the Calio team working personally with you in a bespoke solution. The starter pack is an onboarding process just to help you start investing in the deals. They're like chalk and cheese in terms of the offering. With the global uncertainty, how does this affect whether I should invest or wait till things calm down? I saw that Shane put in the thing from Tony Robbins about what to do in winter. A lot of it's to do with mindset, but there's a lot of research out there, and actually Judd Dunning taught me this, where the research came out, and if you hold back every time there's a global economic problem, by the time you get to 65, you'll have 30% less money than people that just consistently keep investing through all the market cycles. Why should I not just buy property in London? Sure, if I haven't explained that well enough, then I think you should come to our diversification masterclass. Maybe Shane, if you just put up the link there for the diversification masterclass. I don't know if you've got the right date yet. But anyway, just, where I literally try and teach people about diversification in a masterclass. But, investing in London and just buying a house is so old school. It's mom and pop investing. It's playing with the rats and mice. You've got all your eggs in one basket, and it really makes no sense to me. 20 years ago, it made all the sense in the world. I helped thousands of people do it. With technology now, with the regulation, with access to finance, it makes no sense to. It's like riding it. It's like saying to me, why would I, buy a car when I can go on an Volkswagen? How do I fund my wallet if I'm based in South Africa? There's various different ways to do it. We've actually got video tutorials, but in simple terms, you move money out legally using your offshore allowance, and then you send the money directly into your Lemonway wallet. And there, Shane's actually put in there the diversification masterclass. So if you want to join that, click on that and you can join our next session. Can I get help with the wealth plan and the freedom calculator? Yes, you can buy Wealth Going Global. And it'll digitally take you through the process to help you do it. What are the 3 P's to investing again? So again, it's personal development. So you're learning about it. It's, basically you've got a learning mindset. It's passive income. So you're wanting to build globally diversified passive income. And it's the power of community. It's not trying to do everything on your own. It's the power of community. It's partnership. It's working together with others. Can people in the UK and the USA invest? The UK, 100% yes. For Americans, we can help you at a mastermind level, and if you're sophisticated. But at the moment on the platform, just the general American can't actually set up on Lemonway. So we can only help sophisticated people, so we can effectively only help Americans at the mastermind level. Is my money safe on the platform? Sure. I'm going to go find you the video. I'll put it in the WhatsApp group on the 5 things we've done to protect your money. Why would I not invest in something like Alan Gray or another financial company? Look, I'm not telling you what to do. I just look at the pure numbers. So, the average return people are getting is 7-8% in their local currency. I've shown you at an institutional level, you're getting far better returns. You're cutting out all the middlemen. You're cutting out all the costs. And because of that, you're getting far better returns. You're getting access to better quality deals. And long term, that's going to make a significant impact on your overall wealth. There are other companies who invest through the Seychelles, Mauritius, etc. They say it's cheaper. Again, they do upfront. It all sounds good. But from my personal experience, they've only ended badly. That medical company goes through the Seychelles. I mean, they've got 8 buildings, 8 entire portfolios right now paying no income. Yeah, need I say more? How do I get my money out of the investment? It depends on the time, but generally you have to wait until the deal closes. So what that means is that, they actually sell off the asset. We all get our capital back and then we can reinvest it. How do you make money? I did explain that. We earn a performance fee. So there's an amount up front for costs, just to cost for the deal. And then we earn a performance fee. So we basically only make money when you make money. Do the fees you earn come off the final payout after the term ends? Yes, they do, but all the returns you see are net returns. So what's important, again, if you look at that fees calculator, it's all completely clear. You can see exactly what we're earning. There's complete transparency. But in simple terms, all the returns we show you are net returns. Will the recording be made available? Yes, we will make the recording available. I don't know where, but certainly we'll put it in the WhatsApp group at a minimum. Scott mentioned COC after tax. Elaborate if possible. So in simple terms, the cash on cash is what you're getting income in your pocket. So Sandra just said, if we have purchased Wealth Going Global, we'll receive all the same bonuses included in the Wealth Starter Pack. Sandra, you'll get the bonuses. I'm happy to commit to that, but you won't get the $100 voucher. That's something different. But let's reach out, Shane. Let's have a chat with Sandra, and let's find a way to make that work for her. There are 2 different things. The starter pack is a way to get started investing on the platform, and Wealth Going Global is access to the right information. You need both, by the way. It's not an either or. You need both. Well, you don't need both. Just my strong opinion is it's going to make you better if you've got both. Can we have our wallets open for our children? I keep being told no by people, but I've always been a big believer where there's a will, there's a way. So that's my philosophy. Will there be another workshop? Yes. We try and do these, I can't remember if it's monthly or every 6 weeks, but obviously it's to try and help new people that want to learn and use the platform, etc. So yeah, if you go to any one of the links, Shane just consistently keeps them updated as to when the next one's happening. Can we have a tutorial explanation on the calculator? Yes, it's called Wealth Going Global, where we literally take you through it. Is there a mobile app for the Wealth Migrate platform? No, at the moment there's not. It is mobilely responsive, so you can do it all on your cell phone. But we tend to find, according to our research, more than 80% of people like to do their investing on a desktop or a laptop. So we invested most of our resources in that. Could my personal banking details be easily changed in the future, for example, to an account in the Netherlands? Yes, they can be changed as long as they stay in the name. So like if you are Jill or Joe Soap, then as long as the bank account is in the name of Jill or Joe Soap, then it can be changed, no problem. That's money laundering rules worldwide. Can investment be made by a trust? An international trust, yes, no problem. Often this is asked by South Africans. A South African trust or a South African company is a lot of problems because of the Reserve Bank. Sandra and Anita, Shane, if you wouldn't mind just making a note there so that you can follow up with them and actually help them with regards to how to help. And again, Sandra, we can definitely help you at a mastermind level if you're in America. We've already, Alex is already assisting a couple of Americans through that process. Plus Calio have a family office with all the licenses in America. So at a mastermind level, we can support Americans, no problem. 4 hours does not make you an investor. Seen so many people go to seminars, rush out and burn their fingers. What next? I completely agree. You know, I said to you right at the beginning, this is not a get rich quick scheme. This is a journey for the rest of your life. It's an invitation I came on that I've invited you on a journey for the rest of your life. And what I've tried to do is condense as much as I can in the 3.5 hours that we've been here. And but we have tried to very consciously give you next steps that you can choose in terms of the process. Getting to understand the system for $97, I think is great value for money. Walk the path of commercial investment and believe this can greatly support anyone starting out. Why is it so cheap? So I get asked that quite a lot. And there's a part of me that says we should charge probably $997, which is kind of the going rate for digital stuff. But you know, our philosophy is back to our passion and our purpose. We want to help investors invest. That's our objective. So the more affordable we can make it, the more people can participate, the more people grow the community, the more we can invest. The more we all invest together, the more buying power we'll have, the access we'll have to better deals. You know, at the end of the day, we're an investment, you know, company. We want to help people invest and get results. That's the ultimate objective. Can I link through my website as example, diversify my portfolio with Wealth Migrate as a service provider? Yes, we've got an entire affiliate program, plus we've got a white label solution for the right type of partners. So if you're interested in that, just reach out to our team and we can happily help you with that. What is the possibility of buying property in South Africa? This is quite an interesting one. So quite a few people ask us for South Africa. We've got partners in South Africa. In fact, my co-founder, Jaco Moritz, runs a South African solution. They actually use our platform. So they use our Wealth Migrate platform. We call it Wealth Point, which is our technology. So there are solutions to invest in South Africa if people are interested. So if you are interested in South Africa, just type South Africa and we'll get back to you on that. Do I simply add Wealth Migrate to my will one day when I die, or does Wealth Migrate have a letter of wishes set up for one day when I pass away? So Wealth Migrate is no different from any other investment. So you put it in your will and you deal with it like every other investment, and you literally tell them what to do. For how long will this offer last while still sourcing funds? So yeah, look, with the starter pack, we don't rush people. It's kind of a standard offer for people to participate. The only challenge we do have is that we can only offer the one-to-one consultation for the first 20. Cheers, Michael. What if you already have Wealth Migrate account and take the starter pack? Perfect. Then the starter pack uses the money and goes straight into your Wealth Migrate Lemonway account. Is the 197 the investment for the property, or is it buying in the program support? I still need to buy the property or another. So yeah, reminding you that it's 197 starter pack. 97 is going to kind of the setup and because we've got to pay fees for the onboarding and the priority and everything else. And then the 100 is going directly into your wallet to invest in deals. Do you suggest investing a lot of smaller amounts rather than a large amount? Yeah, so again, it depends. If you've got $1,000, you know, put $100 into 10 deals. If you've got $100,000, put, $10,000 or $20,000 into 10 deals or 5 deals, because then you're getting the true benefit of diversification rather than putting all your money into one deal. What are the tax implications? Look, this is a very, very hard question to ask because we've got members in 178 countries. They're all slightly different. We've set up the structure to be as tax efficient as we can from each investment, but everyone gets taxed at an individual level. We do have partners in countries that we put them in contact with to try and make sure that you can be as tax efficient as possible. And at a mastermind level, the Calio team give you a holistic global view of tax and structuring to make sure you're efficient as possible and you're optimized. And that, I think, is all the questions. Sandra, I like what I'm hearing, seeing here, and I'm very much interested, hence why I attended the challenge at Purchase Wealth GG. Same time, I'm being bombarded with offers from Grant Cardone to invest in real estate, multifamily, commercial deals. Your thoughts on Grant Cardone's real estate investing strategies? Yeah, Sandra, I know Grant Cardone. I know exactly who he is. I don't know enough to be pro or negative, for it or against it in terms of the multifamily. I do think one has to be slightly careful because there's a lot of hype involved, would be my only negative. And I tend to, when I like to look for partners, I like to look for steady Eddie, people that, their day job is doing due diligence and scurrying around and finding great deals. They're not sort of, an Instagram legend or a Facebook legend or a celebrity. So yeah, I don't know if that sort of helps. I will say, for me personally, one of the things I like about what we do is we diversify across different partners. So you're not stuck with one kind of partner and kind of one asset class. So, I would seriously consider, I think multifamily is a good asset class. But, it's only one asset class. We had the deal in Manhattan before Christmas. We got an industrial deal in South Bend that I bet you is going to get you a better return than what you're getting in terms of the multifamily. So I'd look at a comparison of deal for deal. I'm happy to kind of sit with you and try and analyze them for you to show you. And I'm not saying it's better or worse. I can't tell you without the numbers. So, like anyone that just makes a statement without knowing the facts is guessing, and I'm not one of those people. So I like to look at the numbers, compare apples with apples, and then you can make much better decisions, including what's the risk on the table. But I'm happy to help. I seem to remember you came from Ann Wilson as well. And, I love Ann Wilson, so I'd happily add extra value to Ann Wilson's clients. Yeah, let's just set up a one-to-one. Yeah, no problem. My brain's a bit fried after 4 hours, I'm not going to lie. But let's sit down and look at the facts, and I'll help you compare an apple with an apple. Okay, are there any other questions from anyone? Anything else I can help with? Lisha, thanks for the kind words. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and well done for bringing your son. It's really, really amazing when you consider, how few people, well, everyone wants, one of the major things for people that are part of the mastermind, they all want to create generational wealth for their family. They all want to hand, not just money, they want to hand the knowledge over. So those people that are here with their children, it's phenomenal because you're handing the knowledge over. It's much, much better to hand the knowledge over than it is to hand money over, because if they got the knowledge, they can do it for themselves. So yeah, I really appreciate all the kind words coming in from everyone. And as I say, if we've added value, all I would ask for in return is a testimonial, because it just helps other people know that it's important. Awesome. Okay, so I want to just kind of wrap up for you. Remember that, our philosophy is to put smart investing in every single person's pocket, and ultimately it's to live a life unlimited. I want to say thank you for your time. It's always a privilege, for me and for Shane and the team. Shane, thank you so much. You're always the unsung hero behind the scenes. Shane's the one that sets it all up for you, makes it easy for you to attend, has all the resources pages so that you can walk away with everything. So a big shout out to Shane. Thank you so much. Alex, who's not here tonight because he's actually studying his own course. He's also becoming an accredited certified coach like myself. so that we can help more people together. But he's wonderful in dealing with people. But to you guys, to all, all of you who are here, thank you for your time. You've invested the best part of nearly 4 hours of your life, which is your most valuable resource. And, we just want to make sure that we try and over deliver, again, give you the belief, give you the knowledge, give you access to investing, give you a system, hopefully give you support and accountability, and ultimately help you get results in terms of that process. So that's our objective. That's our aim. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, tell others about it, please. We've got other events coming up. Tell them about the challenge. Tell them about the Vesta roadmap. Come and join us at the diversification masterclass, which I'm becoming like a Tony Robbins. When I do events, they're like very long because there's so much you need to share. But the masterclass is where we condense it into 90 minutes.